Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Flipgrid webinar. I have just gone live, and I'll just let everyone in the chat window know that I am live and they can press the play button if they haven't already done that. We're going to have a big group on today. Welcome to everyone. So many people typing into the chat window. I can barely keep up with it. It's great to see everyone here. We have the lovely Martin Emo and the lovely Amy Burns on today acting as moderators to help me out because we've got a huge group that's registered for the webinar today. So it's going to be exciting. So welcome to everyone. John, Jill, hello, Amy, Cindy, hello from Alaska, that guest, whoever you are, Jen, Jason, Alex, Lauren, Helen. Oh, Helen, I think you've watched more than one of these webinars, and Diana. Hinkle Music, great name. Natasha, Brian. Hello, Sarah. How are you in Brisbane? I was going to say it's probably warmer up there than here, but we've actually got a really warm day today. Cindy's got 7 p.m. Yeah, it's almost, well, coming up to 10 a.m. here. So good evening to you, Cindy. Brian, Lynn. Oh, how do I say that one? Vay, I think. Hello, Stacey. Good to see you. Claire in Sale, not too far away from me. Lynn's in New Zealand. Excellent. Yeah, we always have a strong New Zealand contingent, I think. And someone can just confirm that they can hear me okay. That would be great. Martin or Amy, that would be awesome. Hello, Amy 8, Annette, Sue, Carrie, Diane, Marla, Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Yes, Lisa, first remote learning day in Victoria. My kids have just started almost an hour ago. There you go. They're stuck in. Can hear me. Thank you. Sometimes I just wonder if I'm talking to myself, so it's great to have confirmation that you can hear me. Thank you. Edith, hello. Guest 2515, hello. Jane. Yes, thanks to the moderators. Norma, Cheryl, Diana, hello again. Oh, Missouri is the guest from Alaska. Expat from New Zealand. Nice. Hello from the Hunter Valley. How's the Hunter Valley? Is it good? Is it all good? Can't believe what we've had, these crazy bushfires followed by zombie apocalypse right now. It's just been nuts lately. Amanda in Geelong, hello. It's good to have you, Marianne, Becky, Gina, Nicole, Sue, thank you. And Amanda, thank you. Elizabeth, Diane in Oregon, great. Lynette's in Bairnsdale. Hello from Ohio. Ohio. Gee, I can't say that today. Hello, Helen. Thanks, Lisa. Nicole's doing middle school. Cheryl's doing middle school band, choir, guitar, and I think that's piano. Probably got cut off there. Desley, good morning. Oh, Brielle. How are you, Brielle? I think it's been a while. Are you teaching remotely, Brielle, at the moment, starting today? It's lovely and warm in Brisbane. Oh, good to know. Oh, Beth in Mulgrave. You are literally like 5 minutes from me. There you go. I'm in Wheelers Hill, so I'm super close. We're probably across the freeway from one another or something. Hello, Marina from Perth. Jennifer in Massachusetts. Hello, Tim again. Heather, Iris, Kiora, Martin, Tim, Daniel, Debbie, Patricia, Christine, Janelle, Tina. Gosh, it's flowing in. I will just say we will get to capacity in the chat window. So if you're watching and you haven't actually logged into the chat window, we have the capacity for 500. I will let you know that at the last count, we had 2,256 people registered for today's webinar. And Yeah, so we will get to that capacity of 500. So if you do want a chance to ask questions or comment during the session, I would suggest logging in really quickly to the chat window because once it reaches 500, we can't fit more in the chat window. You can still watch, it's not a big deal. You can still watch, but if you do want to comment or ask a question, yeah, do log in. I know, Roz, right? 2,200 more than, it's probably even higher than that now. Insane. So the other ones that I've run last week, I think we had, we sort of had 600-ish or so register for those. And I thought Flipgrid might be popular. So I got, I only really put the registration page up 2 days ago. And within about 3 hours, we had like 400 people registered. And I thought, oh, this could be popular. And yeah, and then a few hours later, it was up to 1,200 and it just kept going from there. So insane, just insane. Oh, let me just check the chat window and say hello to a few more people. I've missed a lot, so sorry about that. Desley Brielle, I got through to you. Marina, Tim, Daniel, yes, I said hello to you. Patricia, Christine, Janelle, Tina from California. Nice, Long Beach. Janelle's in Colorado. Sophie's in Brisbane too. Mel and Margaret from New Jersey both commented underneath each other, so that's funny. Desha, I hope I say that correctly. Hello from PA. Nice. Taran Norel. Hello from Annapolis. MD. Hang on, don't tell me. Nope, I got nothing. I got nothing on MD. Tell me what the abbreviation is. I'm getting better, but no. Another from New Jersey, Florida, Virginia, Stacey, hello. Danny's in Melbourne, nice. Yeah, John, a few wows at the number of registrations. I was really stunned. It's crazy. Edith's got so much to learn from sharing last week. Oh, great. Still got one to watch. Yep, excellent. Excellent. You're on term break at the moment. Yeah, it's a good time to do some learning on term break, I think. Hello, Kelly from New York. Bonnie in Northern California. Brielle, yes, Brielle, Beth, and I are all practically neighbours, I think, very close to each other. Chat window's moving too fast and I can't keep an eye on where it's up to. Eileen, Hillary, Robin is in WA. Hello, Catherine in Houston. Clara, hello, Clara. Glorious day in Sydney. Yeah, we've got a glorious day in Melbourne too. Fabulous. Brooke, Laura, Rachel, hello. Hello from Bolivia. Nice. What time is it there? It must be in the middle of the night. Oh, Maryland is MD. Thank you. Oh, I'm almost there. Oh, no. Jamestown, ND. Now, what's North Dakota? Is that North Dakota? I need to learn that song about the 50 states, right? Oh, no, 52, whatever it is. Terrible. Sorry. Hello, Betsy. Another one. Wendy's in Brisbane as well. Karen is in, I missed it, Chicago, I think it was. Marilyn's hometown, Melbourne. Yeah. Eva's in Greece. Greece. I think, Eva, it must be 2 a.m. for you coming up to. Is that right? Michael's in Springfield. Janine's in Wisconsin. Goodness me, look at the variety of places. Isn't it great? Belize. Nice. Hey, y'all. I really would like Australia to adopt y'all as a word or a phrase, almost a couple of words. I love it when I go to Texas and I come back and I really want to just say y'all all the time. I particularly love all y'all. Hilarious. Yeah, I'd love a coffee. Thanks, Danny. I have actually had 2 already. I probably shouldn't have a 3rd one. They were very strong too. So there you go. Kirsty's in St Leonard's, not too far. Sally's in Ipswich, Queensland. Excellent. Hello, Teresa in Perth. Another in Springfield, I've lost it. North Dakota. Oh, good. I did get that right. Yes. Yes. Someone's starting to say all the states for me. Thank you. That flicked out of view quickly. Oh my gosh. Look, I told you it was going to get up there. We're up to what, 395 people logged in now. 5 minutes to go. We'll definitely get to that. Please know y'all. Sean, sorry. I do think it's funny. Lisa uses y'all all the time. There you go. Lisa's here in Australia with me. Kevin Kelly uses it too. Yeah, but you've got a more appropriate accent for it. I do love it. I think it's great. Kim's in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. That's the first time I've seen a Malaysia. Steph loves Flipgrid. Excellent. Okay, so Ms. Wardrobe. Thank you. I have a formal name this morning. All right, so here's a question for you, and you can type the letter A, B, or C in response, just to make it quick and easy for all of you listening. Just type A if you've never used Flipgrid before. B, if you've looked at it a little bit, but you're not really sure and you haven't really played with it a lot. And C, if you use it quite a bit. So A, never at all. B, looked at it but not really played with it much. And C, if you do use it with your students already. Thank you, Iris. First off the cab. A. Great. I'm just curious to see. Lots of A's, a B. Yep, great. That made the chat window go super fast. Look at that. I need to slow the speed down. Oh, funny. Okay, that's cool. No, it's good actually to skim read all the answers. Okay, a lot of A's and B's. Not many C's, a few C's. Between B and C, says Sharon. Cool. Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, that's good because I tossed up whether to start kind of really from scratch, and that's what I ended up going with because I suspected that would be the case. So that's good to know. Excellent. Hello, Judy from New Zealand. Well, that's slowed down again now. Phew. Kathy in New York. Excellent. Oh, Heather, yeah, you probably logged in just at the wrong moment. The A, B, and C, Heather, was for A, people were letting me know what their experience with Flipgrid was. So A is never used it at all. B is maybe I've looked at it, haven't really used it much. And C is I use it already. I use it with my students maybe. And you might be between a couple. You're welcome, guest 8336. I'm not sure what that was in response to, but yes, good. 492 online, 493. We're nearly at capacity for the chat window. Beginner, Gina? I don't know how to say your name, sorry. Melissa, you might have just heard me say the question again now. Oh, okay, yeah, lots of A's. Lots of A's. Yep, A, never used it. Definitely A. Okay, I think A had the majority there. I haven't got a formal polling system here, but that's okay. So I'm just going to repeat for the last 7 spots that are available in the chat window. If you are watching and you haven't logged in yet, it's a good idea to do that because at 500 people, we get to capacity in the chat window. It's okay though. If you don't get to log in, you can still watch the webinar. You'll just press play on the video like everyone else. But if you do get to log in, then you can ask questions and make comments during the session. And I will also say that towards the end of the webinar, people do start to drop off. So there will be spots that open up in the chat window. So thank you, Gina. Thank you, Gina. I hate not knowing how people pronounce, how to pronounce people's names. Excuse me. Guest 9654, how do you change your name? If you're super fast, you actually need, now that you haven't already done that, you need to go out of the chat window and log back in again. But when you log in, the key is when you actually click on guest, the button, you can change your name straight away. You can change it there, and then you click the sign in button to actually like come in. So if you're super fast and you don't miss out on one of the spots, you could do that now. If you want to just keep your spot, don't worry about it too much. I'll just call you by your number or something. Yeah, so you kind of need to do it on the way in. More A's. A C. Okay, that's good. You can help answer some questions if you're a C. Hello in Florida. People can still log in, Roz. Yep. We're up to, I can see 492 or 3 in the chat window. So there are 7 chat spots left, but you can watch anyway. You don't need to log in. It just gives you the chance to comment if you want to. Emily, hello, and A. Yes. Great. All right. I'm going to actually get started. I will stop watching the chat window now, and Martin and Amy are going to take over from me and keep an eye on things there. I'm going to just get ready and share my slides so that we can get started properly, because lots to get through just for something different. And hello, Susan, who's in the YouTube chat. I can see you there. All right. I'm just sharing my screen with you now, so things should change for your view. There we go. Just quickly, the question A, B, or C, we won't worry about it anymore, really, but the question was, if you've never used Flipgrid before, then type A. If you've used it a little bit, not so much, type B. And if you've used it quite a bit, maybe with your students, type C. That was just for me to know where you all were. Renata's just asking, what's the length of the webinar? That is a really good question. To be honest, I never know until I actually do it. It'll be more than 60 minutes, probably 90 minutes of content, and then the Q&A section will be for as long as you guys want to hang around and as long as I want to answer questions for. And if you need to leave at any time, it's not a problem, because the session is being recorded, so you can catch up later on if you need to. Yeah, as long as it's going to go for. All right, so let me just go back here. So welcome, everybody, and I'm really excited about this webinar. This was actually a topic that was chosen by you guys, so there you go. And I would love to say hello to anyone I haven't met before. My name's Katie. I have my own business, Midnight Music. I am what I'm calling now a digital learning coach for music teachers. That seems to be an easier way to explain what I do. This is what I do full time. I don't teach in a classroom. I spend my time training teachers, running workshops, doing online sessions like this. And I do podcasting, blogging, and speaking quite a lot. Now, the biggest part of what I do is actually to run an online community. And this is a place where people can learn from me and actually communicate with me on a daily basis. You get personalized help from me. It's a paid community. There are courses in there, training sessions, there are short tutorials, full-blown courses in there on lots of different topics to do with music technology. So a few people have asked me about this in previous webinars, so I thought I would just let you know up front that this is where you can get help from me after today if you would like to. And we've actually got a special offer on at the moment, really because I wanted to try and help out as many people as I can at this time. So I've been running a lot of these free webinars, but we've also dropped prices for the community if you are interested in joining. Now, there is a link. If you want to find out more about that, I'll speak more about it at the end. But there's actually a link on the page where you're watching this session. If you scroll down at the bottom, you can always find more information out there. Okay, so just a few housekeeping things. If you have tech issues, i.e. the video stops or the sound stops for some reason, just refresh your browser. 99% of the time, it's an internet issue at your own end. So just try that. You can always log out and come back in again for the chat window. Probably not so much today because I know that we're at capacity already. I think we're just about there. So the other thing is we've got 2 moderators who are helping me out today, and they are Martin Emo and Amy Burns. They are both fantastic music educators, and I am really lucky and excited to have them on today to help me out. I cannot keep an eye on the chat window during the session. It just it's too busy and the flow will get disrupted for the actual webinar. So I will look in at the end sometimes I might look in and just glance over my shoulder at the second screen I've got here on my desk. But generally speaking, it'll be Martin and Amy that answer questions while I'm actually presenting. And having said that, if you are, thinking of questions about Flipgrid as we go through, almost with Flipgrid, I was thinking about this last night. A lot of the time, the answer is yes. Whatever you think you would like to do with Flipgrid, a lot of the time the answer is yes. And it might be that Martin and Amy say, "Hey, we're going to get to that soon." They will answer stuff as best we can, but the chat window is very fast flowing. So if anything gets missed, don't worry. I will open up to a proper Q&A session at the end, and we can catch up with your question there. So if it does get missed, just ask it again at the end. And I will just say I am providing a copy of the slides that you will see today. Because of that, I've actually included more text than I would normally include on presentation slides. I like to keep less text on my slides, but I've actually included, in some cases, quite a bit of text because it means that you can take this away and they become your session notes. Okay, reiterating the session's being recorded. We will have a link to the replay of this session available and a copy of the slides around 24 hours after the session takes place. It's likely to be sooner than that, but just give us 24 hours in case. There will also be a PD certificate link given at the end. And that reminds me, I have not updated that link. So you'll give me a couple of minutes when I get it to you at the end to fix it up. And this is actually one of I do free training sessions like this every single month. So if you would like to keep informed about that, I'll let you know how you can do that also at the end. Let's get stuck into Flipgrid. There's a lot to cover. Now, Flipgrid is a fantastic free tool, and the things that I'd like to cover today are what is Flipgrid, what actually is it, and how do you get started with Flipgrid. I'm going to talk about grids and topics, which are two Flipgrid terms, and we'll talk about what they are and what the difference is. I'm going to talk about once you've set up a topic and an assignment for your students, how they actually respond to that. We're going to talk through how to use the camera/recorder that's in Flipgrid. And my favourite bit is actually to talk you through some ideas for using Flipgrid. So some actual lesson ideas or assignment ideas or even interesting ways of using Flipgrid. And maybe with a little bit of innovation. What's the word? Yeah, innovatively. We'll also talk a little bit about providing feedback. So for students that do submit videos to you via Flipgrid, how do you submit feedback to them? Okay, so let's start first of all with what exactly is Flipgrid? Now, Flipgrid is a video response platform. It basically means it's a really easy way for you to get videos from multiple students all at once. And for this reason, I really like this solution. If you do want students to submit videos to you for any kind of assignment or reason, this is a really good solution if you can have it at your school. Flipgrid themselves talk a lot about empowering student voice. So this is also something to really think about. This is a way for your students to be heard individually. And because they're making their own videos and often in the privacy of their own space or home, it might be at school when you get back to school, but because they're sort of doing this individually, I've heard reports from teachers that you get to hear from students that you may not normally hear from. Or you discover that, oh my goodness, so-and-so has an amazing voice and I didn't know that because they've never actually been brave enough to sing in class. There might be lots of things that you actually discover about your students. So this is a great way for you to get videos from your own students. It's also a fantastic way for you or your students to create videos. And that's because Flipgrid has this awesome inbuilt recorder. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Now, Flipgrid calls it the Flipgrid camera. I find the use of the word camera in this instance a little bit weird because I always think about the camera being the actual thing that takes the picture, not the interface in which you can set things up, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes sense to people, but those of you that have used Flipgrid, you might know what I mean by that. So Flipgrid has its own inbuilt camera/recording device, and it has a lot of cool features. So you can see a screenshot there. So this is me with the Flipgrid camera open. You can see there's a record button in the center at the bottom, and there are some other smaller buttons just above that which allow you to add things like text and stickers and draw on your screen. And there's a whiteboard function, and you can add pictures or other stickers that you upload yourselves. I'm going to talk through all of those features a little bit later on, but the greatest thing about Flipgrid is that video upload from you, ones that you've created yourself or that students are submitting to you, the upload is automatic. So basically, students will hit a record button, record their video, and as soon as they hit submit, it's ready for you to look at. Now, I can't tell you how much this saves time and heartache. So if you've ever tried to record something on your phone or get kids to record a video on their phone, after they've recorded on their phone, then you've got to kind of like send the video from your phone to somewhere. So you might be able to send it from your phone directly to somewhere where the teacher can find it. Or you might need to send it to your laptop and then you upload it from your laptop to somewhere like Google Classroom. And there are a number of steps. And sometimes then you find the video is too big and it becomes cumbersome. And then you've got to do video conversions or compressing. And it's all really complex and hard work. So that is the thing that Flipgrid takes away. It just makes everything really, really easy to upload, to organize, and it's really easy for you to save and share and download videos from the Flipgrid platform. Let's talk about what it looks like. So when you are a student or as a teacher, you will set up essentially a grid. And a grid is a place where you will house a learning community. And on your grid, you'll have multiple assignments of some kind. So Flipgrid calls them topics. You'll have a topic name and then some instructions. So here, you're looking at a grid that I had set up last year called Free Challenge July 2019. This was for a group of teachers that did a free challenge with me. I set up a grid for that group, and then on that grid, I had 4 topics that they could respond to. Now, you can see one of those at the moment where there's the number 2. You can see the most prominent topic, which is called Celebrate Your Achievements. And you can see on the right-hand side, there's actually a drop-down menu where people can access the other topics on my grid if they wanted to. Where it's got number 3, that's the instructions for the topic that you're looking at. So I had a topic called Celebrate Your Achievements. We did this challenge for 5 days, and I set some instructions, which was record a video that tells me what you learnt during challenge week. Did you achieve something new and exciting? Which of your lesson assignments were you most proud of? So there were a few guidelines written there. And then what the teachers that took part in this challenge did was to click the big green button and then record their video, and then it appeared on the grid for me to watch and for other members to watch as well. And you can see where it's number 5, you can see all the faces there. Those are the people that responded to this topic. I'm going to talk through about how to set all of that up in a moment. I'm just going to continue on with the basic overview and just show you what it looks like if you were to click on one of those faces. And I did this, I clicked on Danielle's, who's on the right-hand side. So hello, Danielle, if you're watching this. And you can see there that this is what Danielle's response looks like. So as a teacher or the person who set the topic up, I can click through and see Danielle's video, and I can press play and hear her speaking. I can play the video, I can provide feedback, and you can turn on feedback or turn off feedback. You don't have to have that as an option, but I did in this case. And there are a few other things I can do with it from there as well. So again, continuing with this basic overview, some really basic ideas for music classes. And believe me, I've got a massive list of other ideas to share with you towards the end. But in basic terms, here are some of the things that people are using Flipgrid for in music. So playing assessments is a perfect thing. You might get students to play something in band. You might need to hear them playing part of their latest piece. It might be section 1 of the opening piece for your next concert. You want to hear them playing and hear them playing their part on their own. So you can get students to submit a playing assessment to you via Flipgrid. Lots of teachers, particularly those who are teaching elementary, are using it for recorder karate videos. So if you need to get students to submit their videos to you, in order for you to assess them and move them on to the next level in recorder karate, that is something you could be doing in class time, but it's going to take up a lot of your class time. So this gives you the opportunity to watch the videos when it's convenient for you, and the students can submit them to you whenever it's possible for them. Students might simply sing something into the Flipgrid recorder. They might show you something that they know. They might do a spoken report about something. They might do a presentation about a composer or an instrument of the orchestra. They might respond to a question or a prompt that you've asked them. You might ask them something like, when you listened to Mozart's symphony, whatever one it is that we listen to in G minor, is it G minor? When you listen to that, what was your favourite movement in that piece of music? You can get them to do listening journal type entries. They might interview a family member and ask the family member on video what instruments that person played when they were a child. And again, I'll give you many more specific examples later on. So let's talk about how to get started. I'm going to go through from scratch what it looks like to get started. I wasn't going to do this initially, but I'm going to go through it relatively quickly. It's not that hard to figure out. Flipgrid makes it easy for you. It's very step by step. But I'll just show you what it looks like and talk through a couple of different options in the sign-up process. So the first thing as an educator that you do is you sign up for an account. Now, only you need to sign up officially for a Flipgrid account. Your students don't need to do that. However, they do need to sign into Flipgrid in order to leave video responses, and I'll talk through that process in a moment. But for educators, you'll sign in and you need to use a Google or a Microsoft account. The thing I'll say about this is it's really good to check with your school admin IT person about whether your school is using Google or Microsoft accounts if you're not sure. Some schools have email addresses which may not end in at gmail.com, but they still actually may be Gmail addresses. They may actually have a school domain, but it's still going through the Gmail system. And same with Microsoft too. So just check with your IT person if you're not sure. You'll enter your details after you've clicked which one you're going to choose to sign up with. You'll enter your details and then hit the Let's Go button. Now, the first thing that Flipgrid will get you to do is to set up your first grid. Now, a grid in Flipgrid, a grid is a learning community. So this was the thing that I wasn't quite sure about when I first started using Flipgrid, like what's a grid, what's a topic, how do I work those, what do I use them for? So a grid is essentially a learning community. For most of you, that will be the name of your class. So this might be grade 5 music, it might be year 7 band, it could be grade 4 music, it could be year 10. Whatever your learning groups are is probably going to be what you call your grids. Having said that, you can organise them however you want. And you could have multiple students being part of different grids depending on how you interact with them at school. A grid is where you house your learning assignments, and in Flipgrid, they're known as topics. So your grid is the home for the assignments that you'll set for a particular group of students. And you can have unlimited topics on your grid. So if you've got grade 5, for instance, you might have 20 different assignments by the end of a school year that all give students access and opportunity to submit some kind of videos to you. So that's the first thing. That's your grid. You'll do that and click Start My Grid. So in the setup of your grid, what you'll do is name the grid first of all. So that's the name of your learning group. And then you'll choose how it is that you want students to access your grid. You need to make this decision up front, and you can have different settings for different grids that you set up within your account. So if you are a Microsoft or a Google school, and your students have emails in one of those systems, it's best to choose the school email option. This will give you a chance to say what is the domain of my school, as in what is the last part of my email address. You'll enter that so that anyone with that last part of your email address, let's say you're at a school which ends with, it might be Katie at, and then everything after the at sign is what you'll actually pop into the box once you've clicked on that school email option. So after at, for me, for instance, I'm going to make up a fictitious school. It could be at greenvalehigh.vic.edu.au. That could be the end of my email address, and that's what I'll enter in there. Now, that's provided I'm a Microsoft or a Google school. Check with your IT person if you're not sure. The second option here is particularly good for young students who may not have any email address at all. You can use the student ID option. So when you click on that, you'll actually enter the names of your students and give them a number of some kind. And that number can be anything you like. So if you have a list of your students already, first name, last name, and a school identification number of some sort, you can totally use that. And you can either enter them manually one by one, not so good, or you can just upload a .csv file which has all of that information in it. So that's a really good option if you're working with young students or if you don't want to use the school email option. The last option here, public and PLCs, this is really the one I use when I'm working with other teachers and I want to share grids with other teachers and topics and so on. So this is one where it's open to the public. It's usually for adults perhaps, or at least older students. Really, well, you have to be 13 plus, and in some countries it's 16 or older. But this is something that's more open to the world. So you'll need to use the top two, preferably if you're working with younger students. Okay, then after that, I just want to show you briefly what it looks like if you did choose that student ID option. This is what it gives you. It gives you the opportunity to upload a CSV file, or you type names and numbers in automatically. And that student ID number can be anything you like. You can make it up if you want. The list that you can see on the right, I've used names from Superman, and I just made up the numbers there for the student ID number. Now, when you have students entered into Flipgrid this way, they can actually just enter their number really easily to go to your Flipgrid and access the topics that they need to access. Once you've entered them, you'll get the chance to review them, and then on the right-hand side there, if you've used this method to enter your students, you can actually get a list for them of their names and numbers as they appear in Flipgrid, just so that they know how to get into Flipgrid. It also really handily gives you a code for them to scan. So if they've got a device that will allow scanning of a QR code, then they can actually just scan that and enter your grid that way. So that's super easy, particularly for younger students. Once you've set up your grid, you need to get your students onto it somehow. So you either send a link to the grid somewhere, like posting it in Microsoft Teams or in Google Classroom. You can send it via Remind app if you're using that. You can embed it somewhere on a website. And if you've got the students entered by student ID, then you can do the option which was on the previous page there and get them there really quickly. Now, I will just say there are some other grid settings. Before sharing your grid, I would probably check the other grid settings first, because there are a few extra things that you can turn on or off if you want to. Now, the grid settings that you can access, a few extra grid settings, you go into your list of grids in Flipgrid. So I'm logged in here as my educator account. I can see the grid that I've just set up in my account setup process, and I can go to that and click on the pencil and edit some more settings. So I'm going to just briefly show you these, because there are a few things which are just really useful to know about. There are some options at the top there. You can see that you can allow the videos that students create on that grid to be downloaded and shared. So you can choose whether to turn that on or off. You can actually also make the grid active or make it inactive for a time. So if you want to set things up and you want to edit your grid and add a picture and so on, and you're not ready for students to see it, you can actually make your grid inactive for the moment. The one that I really want to stress at the top left there is notifications. So Personally, I have all the notifications turned off because if you have them turned on, you're going to get an email every single time a student submits a video, and it may be what you want, but it may not be what you want. So I'm just going to mention that it's there if you do want to turn that off. And at the bottom right, you'll see there's a little picture further down the screen. When you're in your grid settings, you can update the picture that represents your grid. And I will just say, once you've set one grid up and you have it set the way that you like, and you think you're going to have most of your grids set up in the same way with the same settings, it's a really good idea to duplicate that first grid and then just rename it and adjust it for your next group of students. Rather than setting up a grid from scratch, duplicate is a time-saving feature. Okay, so that's your grid. That's the home for your assignments. Let's just talk about adding a topic onto the grid. So as I mentioned, your grid is the home of your learning community, and then on the grid you'll have multiple topics, and each topic is a separate assignment. Now, you will get a default topic provided to you by Flipgrid. That always happens, and the first thing that they give you is a say hello on Flipgrid topic. So you can leave that there. It's actually a good idea to do this with your classes because it gives them a little bit of practice with using Flipgrid if they've never done that before, but it's just a great way to introduce everybody to everyone else. So you can leave that there. I think it's nice to adjust that hello topic. You can actually edit it and slightly adjust it if you want to. So the default topic just says say hello on Flipgrid, introduce yourself. I usually change it to say hello and introduce yourself and tell us a musical fact about you. So you can go into that pencil icon. When you do that, you'll be in this edit screen. And that's what it says by default. It says record a short video, say hello, and share a fun fact about yourself. So I usually change that to tell us a fun musical fact about yourself. When you're in your topic and you're setting up your assignment, this is the one thing that I found difficult to kind of work out when I first started using Flipgrid was what are all the things for in the topic screen here? So the title's fairly obvious. The title is just the name of the assignment that you're setting. The recording time is also fairly obvious. So this is the maximum time length that you want the students to record a video for. It's really good to think about this quite hard before you get your topic out to the students. If they're just saying hello and telling you a fun fact about themselves, I would limit that. I would actually change it, and I think I have in one that I've set up for this session. Not 1 minute 30, you could make that a 30-second video. Having a limitation can be a really good thing. It makes students speak very promptly and to the point. So that's what I would do. Make it as short as you can. If you need to make it longer, obviously you can do that too. You can do videos now up to 10 minutes in length. There used to be a 5-minute limitation, but they've changed that, and you can have videos up to 10 minutes in length if you want to. The prompt. So there's a little box where you write the prompt. So the prompt is the instructions for your assignment. It's, again, really good to be clear here about what you want the students to do. So you'll say, hello class, I'd like you to record a video about your instrument, and then maybe put a list of the things that you want them to include in the video. Something like, when you tell us about your instrument, please include what is the name of your instrument, how long have you been playing it, how does it produce a sound, and what's the favourite piece of music that you play. You might just have 3 or 4 things that they need to cover in their video, and that gives them a little checklist as such to go through. Now, underneath where you write the prompt, there is what they call a focus, and this is an optional thing. And this is one of the ones where I thought, I don't really know what the purpose of this thing is in Flipgrid. So the focus is a media resource of some kind that you provide to your students if you want to either enhance the topic, to draw attention to it, or to give them something to view or watch. So the things that you can include there are many and varied. You can have a simple image just to make it look fun and happy, or you can include a video that you've made yourself which actually explains the assignment, Or you can even include a video from YouTube, something existing. You can include some other kind of image altogether that they need to refer to in their assignment. Many, many options. So that's what the focus is for in that instance. Now, this is just the first bit of editing your topic. The next part is that you get the opportunity to put some other things in here. So there's a topic tip. And again, I thought, what do you use the topic tip for? We've already got the prompt. Now, what's the topic tip for? I've really discovered this is the place to do a very short thing like don't forget to look at the camera, don't forget to make sure that your whole instrument is showing in the video camera when you record. Um, don't forget to speak clearly, or don't forget to make sure you're well lit, or it could be something to do with the content of the assignment. So this is a really quick tip. And you don't have to have something here, but it can be really useful. And then also an optional thing is to have some attachments. Now, if you're going to include attachments, in my experience, it's really good to mention in the prompt. So the prompt, let's just go back for a second. The prompt was in the first part of this. The prompt is your instructions for your assignment. When you go to the attachments section, I think it's worthwhile saying, please look at the attached blah, 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 and that will give you the guidelines for this assignment. Just refer to it there. My own kids have actually had Flipgrid assignments from their own teachers, and the teacher has not mentioned that there is an attachment with all the guidelines, the detailed guidelines for the assignment that they need to do. So it can be missed if it's not drawn attention to. So your attachment can be a document, it could be a lesson plan, it could be a rubric that they need to follow. Again, it could be something from YouTube. It just needs to be something that you have a link for. And again, you give it a title. Now, this bottom section underneath topic attachments, this is the most important bit, I reckon, to make a note of. So what you can do is turn on or off video moderation. This is probably the biggest question that comes up, is once students submit their videos to their topic, can everybody see them instantly? Now, yes, you can have that option turned on if you want. I'm going to guess that most of the time, most of you are going to want to moderate the videos before they appear on the grid. Because don't forget, as soon as they are active on that grid, on that topic, everybody can see everyone else's videos. So it's a really good idea to turn on moderation. That means you, as the teacher, get to see the videos before they appear out in the open to the world, or at least to your class. And there's many reasons why you're going to want to do that. One of the reasons, obviously, is to make sure that the student's not done anything that's inappropriate in the video. That's one reason. But also, some students like the comfort of knowing that you're going to see it first and sort of check it. The other thing is with video moderation, you don't ever have to make the videos active on the topic. You can have them hidden all the time. So there might be reasons for doing this. For instance, if you are running auditions and you want your students to submit videos for an audition, and you don't ever want all the students to see each other's videos, you as a teacher want to see them and no one else, you can just leave the moderation on and not make any of those videos active to the other students. So you have the control there, you set it up in the topic. The other thing on the right-hand side that is really useful is to decide whether you want to allow students to reply to each other. So there are times where this is really good to do. So you don't think it's not something to consider. I think this is a fantastic way for students to collaborate and respond. And there's that ISTE standard, if you've ever followed the International Society for Technology in Education standards. There is a student standard about communicating with each other in the wider world and being a good digital citizen. So this can be great if you do want students to respond to one another. A student can post a video and you can allow another student, any student in your class, to reply to that person's video and say, hey, I like what you did here, and have you considered X, Y, Z? And you can have some controls around that, have some requirements about what you permit in those reply videos. And again, it's something you have control over. You can turn it on or off. There's also options there for making your topic active or not active and actually launching it or freezing it on certain dates. Okay, I'm going to go through these a little bit more quickly. I do want to get onto the more fun stuff, but I think these are really important to go through. So hopefully this is useful. The last part of editing your topic and setting up your topic here is the way that students can create videos, so video features. Now, you can turn on or off the option for students to edit their videos. Most of the time, I would be leaving that on. It just means that they can trim the video clips that they record, they can rearrange them, and so on. The video and selfie styles, there are some different options in the drop-down menu there. I won't go through all of those. You can turn on or off video titles, attachments, view count, likes, and sticky notes. So there's an option to add sticky notes in to their recording while they're doing it, and you can turn that off if you don't want it. The view count and the likes, I think they're the ones probably to consider the most, whether you want students to see how many views each of their videos has and how many likes. I find that ends up being a little bit too much of a popularity contest. So, maybe you don't need that on. But if you do want to, there might be times where you're running a competition and you say the person with the most likes is going to win this thing. That might be a time where you do want that on. And there are some options down the bottom for feedback. So you can have your videos set up to accept or provide basic feedback. And if you want to, you can actually build a custom rubric that students need to work through, and you can grade them on when they submit their videos. So when you're a teacher, this is what the teacher view of the topic looks like. There are some buttons I won't go through all the buttons on the screen there, but do read and click around and experiment with things when you're logged in as your educator account. The thing that I'll draw your attention to, and I forgot to circle it on the screen, but under where it says "Say Hello" on Flipgrid, the title of the topic there, there's a little thing which says Flip Code. Now, when I first started using Flipgrid, one of the things I really wanted to see was what does my topic look like as a student? Because the view is different. What does it look like as a student? And I spent forever looking for a button which says something like View as Student and could not find it anywhere. And then, I don't know, 3 days later, I hovered my mouse over the thing which says Flip Code. Flip Code is the thing that you can send your students if you want to get them directly to a topic that you've created. And if you click on that link, that is the thing that allows you to view the topic as a student. I just wish that it had had a title which said View as Student. I don't know if anyone else had that issue. It could be just me. But there you go. So that's the one you want to look for if you want to view it as a student. And this is what it does look like when you're a student. The student view is a cleaned up version of that previous screen, really. Less buttons, obviously. There's a topic title. There's the prompt that we wrote. There's the little tip. That's how the tip appears when you see it as a student. So it's small, but it's just there. Short is good for the tip. And then at the bottom there is the big green button. Now, this is the way that they will add a video. They will click on the big green button and then they're going to record their video and submit it to your topic. Hope everyone's going okay. I haven't looked over at the chat window. I'm going to presume everyone's good and I will plow on. So when you are a student, I just want to run through what this looks like. And it's super useful. If as an educator, it's super useful once you've set things up to go in as a student and work through everything from their point of view, just to see what they experience. So when you're a student, the first thing you want to do is get onto your teacher's grid or topic in order to do your assignment. So to get them onto your grid or topic, you can either share the grid link or the numerical code that's associated with that, which is a Flipgrid code, or you can give them a QR code which they can scan. So any of those methods will get them to your grid or topic. And then they will actually, in order to record a video, they will need to sign in using the method that you set up for your grid in the first place. So that might be the Microsoft account, the Google account, or it will be that student ID method. So one of those, and then they're into your grid or topic and you can get them to do the assignment. So This is what it looks like, how they will actually access a topic. If they have ended up on your grid for the whole class, there will be one prominent topic that shows really obviously, and then there will be a little drop-down menu at the right where they can access any other topics that you might have set up on that grid. So the one you're looking at here, the first topic that they can see prominently is challenge testimonials, and on the right-hand side there's a drop-down where they can access one of the 4 other topics on this grid. When I first started using Flipgrid, it was different. All the topics showed very obviously on the first grid screen, and I really preferred that. I don't know why they've changed it to this, to be honest. I wish it was the old way, but nevertheless, I might be the only one who feels this way. I just think that maybe the topics are a little hidden in this one, but this is the way it is, so we will live with it. So if you give them the link to your grid, they go to the whole grid and they can see all the topics on that grid. The other alternative is you can actually give them a link to go straight to a specific topic, and that can also be useful at times. Now, students can use any device to record their response. If they're on a laptop, they can use that. They can use a Chromebook. It can be Mac or PC. They can have an iPhone, an Android device. Anything will work, and this is one of the reasons Flipgrid is so great. So what they will do is read the topic instructions first of all, then they'll click the big green button, and then they'll record their video and submit it. Now, some of you might be thinking, you know what, I have students that are camera shy, and I'm thinking middle school at this point, and to be honest, this was me for a long, long time. Now I've done it so much, I just don't care anymore. And you'll see a lot of, you'll see some screenshots soon of me just not really caring what I look like in screenshots and videos, because I had to do some really late last night. No makeup on, glasses on, like it's dark. So you'll see how my care factor has gone down over the years. I used to sort of get quite worked up about having to be on video or recording my voice, and the more you do it, the more chilled you become. But having said that, you might have students who are camera shy. So there are actually some great options in Flipgrid for them to get around this if you're happy for them to use them. And there's multiple options here. They can cover their face or just even part of their face with a sticker. So that's what I've done in this screenshot here. I've chosen a sticker inside the Flipgrid camera record function, and I've put it over my face. Now, this may not be a good option if you're a choir leader and you want to see your students' mouths while they perform, or if perhaps you're a wind or brass instrument teacher and you want to see the embouchure of the student. This is not always going to be an option, but it is there for you to consider if you want to. There's also a filter. There's a set of filters inside Flipgrid, and there's one called Pixel, which will pixelate your face and anything on the screen. It's a little bit like a witness protection thing on the news. That can also be useful. You can also choose to turn on whiteboard view. So instead of seeing you on camera, you'll actually see just a plain whiteboard or blackboard view, and you'll still hear the student's voice, but you won't see them on the screen. And the last thing is to say to students, again, which I mentioned earlier, is that if you have that moderate videos function turned on, you as the teacher will see the video, and you can say to the students in some instances, no one else will see your video, only me. So that can be something that you choose, especially if you do need to see their face, their embouchure, their hand positions and so on. That can be a good option, and just say, look, just me, I will see it only, no one else. Let's just talk through how to record videos in Flipgrid. So the Flipgrid video recorder camera thing is awesome. It's super easy to use, and there's a lot of fun things in there. When you record videos in Flipgrid, or the functionality of using Flipgrid to record your videos, this is how you as a teacher can create videos for your students. And it's exactly the same method for the students creating videos for you to see. So once you've learnt it yourself, the students will also use the same method to record their videos. And if the students have used it a lot in other classes, they can help you out if you're not sure what to do inside the Flipgrid recorder. And I mentioned earlier you can do up to 10 minutes. My tip would be to keep videos as short as possible. You know as well as I do, and I've mentioned this in previous webinars, that if you go to YouTube looking for a solution to something, you're gonna choose the 4-minute video over the 10-minute video every time. So short is really good, especially good for you to keep in mind if you're creating teaching videos for students to watch. Go for short ones if you can. And if you have a longer thing to discuss with your students or to teach them, break it up into smaller parts. So have video part 1 and then part 2 and part 3. People will binge watch multiple short videos more readily than they'll want to watch a single long one. All right, so this is what it looks like. This is literally me at about 11 o'clock last night because I needed some screenshots to add to this presentation. So I'm looking at my finest here. Oh, I've just lost my screen share. Hold on. Let me just go back. Okay, hold on. I've just lost that keynote presentation. Oh, here we go. I'm actually just gonna move this file. It's going to be a bit safer. I've just realized I've got it in Dropbox. Okay, let me just go back here. There we go. All right, I think we're back on and we're all good again now. Okay. Phew. Small technical issue. I think we're good. Okay, so when you hit that big green button, this is the first screen that you'll see. You'll get the start sort of recording screen. Now there are some options at the bottom there. I won't go through all of those for the moment. Let's just talk through the very basic. What you'll do is hit the red record button in the middle. Then, after you've recorded the first segment of your video and you've pressed that button again to sort of stop or pause, you have the option of redoing what you just did. So, if you don't like what you just recorded, you can redo it, you can trash it and do it again. Not a problem. The other great thing is that you do have an opportunity to add another clip if you want to. I'll show you that in a second. But let's say you're happy with that first bit. Can you see there's a little progress around the outside of where that red camera picture is in the center of the screen there? There's a little bit of white. That means I've recorded for that length of time out of the entire circle that I have available to me. If you're happy with it, you'll click next and you get to this screen. And this is where you can review what you recorded. You can actually click on the clip there and review it if you want to. You can click the add more button if you want to add something onto your video. And if you're happy with what you've done and you don't need to do either of those things, you'll click the next button. Now, I want to say that the add more button is so super useful because it means that you can record something, pause and think about your next thing. And this is for you or the students. Think about what you want to record next and add something to your recording. So you don't have to do everything in one go. If you want to pause and just think and take a moment and breathe, you can do that. And then you can add on to your video. So if you're happy, you'll click the next button. Then you have the option next of clicking on the clip that you've recorded, and you do have to click on it in order to do this. You can actually edit the clip. You can trim the end. So if at the very beginning you clicked record, you fiddled around to get ready, and then you thought, oh yeah, that's right, that's what I want to do, and then you started singing, you can actually trim off the beginning of you fiddling around off the clip there, and you'll just drag that left-hand side towards the right and get rid of the bit that you don't want. You can press the play button as you're doing that and see where you're trimming from and to. And once you're happy, you'll go confirm. Now, the next thing you'll do in Flipgrid, and this is a very Flipgrid thing, you'll snap a selfie picture to represent your video on the grid. So I find that the first time I did this, I pressed the button. I was like, oh, it happened already. You can redo your selfie as many times as you like, but basically there'll be a little camera icon on the screen again, and it says snap a selfie. You'll click the camera and straight away it will take the photo of you. I actually you can tell, obviously posed for this one, knowing what I wanted to do. So I clicked a picture of myself, and then before I hit the next button, I clicked on the sticker icon, which looks like the emoji, and I found a picture of a fairy, which I added to my picture. You can go crazy on your selfie. You can have all sorts of things. You can put sunglasses on yourself, emoji, text on the screen, and so on, or nothing. You can just have a picture of yourself. It's totally fine to keep it plain. So this is the simple workflow, the very simple version. You tap record, you do your thing, you tap stop, you check your video, you take your selfie and you submit it. So that's for you or the students, really simple workflow. There are many other things you can add into the middle of all those steps if you want to. And I won't go through every single variation, but here are a few tips. So first tip is you can record in segments. That's so good to know and to bear in mind. And when you're working with students who maybe haven't used Flipgrid, I would just make sure that they understand that. And you might need a few practice goes at doing this just to get used to what that's like. It's easy to forget that that's an option. So record a bit, press pause, record a bit more, press pause, record a bit more. You can do that, until you're happy. Another thing to bear in mind is that when you're recording in Flipgrid, you can record on the spot live, or you can actually add a pre-recorded video. So if you did have something that you recorded on your phone and you wanted to add an intro and an outro to it, so you want to introduce something, you want to show the video from your phone, and then you want to speak to the students at the very end to finish off, you can actually make that really easily in Flipgrid. So you can record your first little intro bit. You can then upload a clip that you've got that's come from your phone. That becomes your second clip, and Flipgrid will automatically put those two clips right next to each other, and they will just flow on from one another. And then you can hit record and record your last segment, which is you thanking the students. Okay, please go ahead and complete this assignment. That could be the outro sort of section. And again, you can do all of those things. Even if you add the pre-recorded one first accidentally into Flipgrid, you can still rearrange the clips. So you could record your outro and intro and then move them around into the correct order. There's the option of trimming, editing, deleting, rearranging clips, which I've mentioned. There is separately an option to use a whiteboard and draw on it. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures from that later on. And lastly, and this is a more recent feature that they've added in, there's even the option to record your screen. So if, for instance, you have a website open and you want to explain an assignment to students which involves, let's say, the Chrome Music Lab, you can open the Chrome Music Lab, you can hit record, show them what the website looks like, show them what you want them to do, and then hit stop, and that becomes your teaching video. So again, really flexible, really useful. Other cool things that you can do, I've mentioned a couple of these. You can use stickers while you're recording. So if you choose a sticker, which is just a little picture of some sort, it might be an emoji or the fairy picture that you saw me show before, or it might be a picture of a guitar or an instrument of some sort. You can actually put those onto the screen, then hit record, and you can even use the stickers while you're recording. You can move them around, you can make them bigger and smaller. There's lots of ways you can use this in a clever way with your students when you're making videos or when they are. You can even upload your own stickers. Now, the terminology sticker, think of it as an image. It's an image file of any sort. So it can be a photo. And if you want to think a little bit outside the square or outside the box, someone told me I used a funny way of saying that phrase. You can actually think about uploading image files that are not necessarily photos or emoji. They could even be things like a screenshot of music, of sheet music. And again, I'll show you the way that you can use that in a moment. You can add filters to your video, so you can make it look like you've got a warm filter on or a cool filter, or you can change it to black and white. And you can even add text to the screen too. A lot of these things I tend to set up before I hit record. So I'll put the stickers on the screen, I'll add the text, and then I will hit record and manipulate them if I'm going to, or just leave them there depending on what video I'm making. And I do want to just talk about this. This is the question, the eternal question of, if I have made a backing track video or linked to a video for my students to sing or play along with while they are recording their Flipgrid video, how do I do that? Now, I've played with this extensively over the last couple of days, and I'm going to say there's not one simple, easy solution for all types of devices. So I know lots of you want to do this. You might create a backing track for your students. You might create a video. It might be a sing-along video. And what you wanted to do is to get your students to hit play on that video or that backing track. And then you want them to record themselves singing or playing along with it. Now, the thing that works the most easily, and this is particularly if you're on a Chromebook or a Mac or a PC, is to simply open that backing track on a new tab, browser tab, and you have Flipgrid on the first tab. And what you'll do is hit record in Flipgrid. You'll move across to the tab which shows the backing track or video. You'll hit play there, and you will sing or play along. It does not matter if you can or can't see the Flipgrid screen while you're recording and looking at the backing track video, if you know what I mean. Now, that one works quite well. Kids know how to do that. Lots of adults kind of go, that does my head in, I can't picture how that works. Do go and have a try yourself. I can pretty much tell you that the students will know how that will work and how to figure that out. So that works really well on a laptop of any kind. If you're on an iPad, when you set up your Flipgrid topic, you know that focus thing that you can add. It's a little picture or a video of some kind or a GIF. If you add your instructional video, your backing track as the focus, when you're on an iPad and you're recording, you can actually open up the topic and view that video while you're recording your own video into Flipgrid. And again, it's really worth having a play with this. This is only useful, this iPad solution, if your students all have iPads. Now, that's not going to be many of you, so this is why I found it annoying. There's not sort of one really great solution for this, but that's something to consider. And I'm happy, I may actually make some instructional videos about how to do each of these things, which I will upload separately. It was not something that was easy for me to show live during this session, but I think it's just worth talking about it at least. If you have students that are using iPhones, and I can't speak to Android because I don't have an Android, but I'm presuming there's some sort of similar option. I didn't find a great way on the iPhone to do this other than instead of basically opening up Flipgrid, playing the backing track video or audio file, and using the iPhone screen record option to actually record myself singing over the top of it. Now, doing this method means that you can't see me on the screen. It wasn't recording my face. It was just recording sound. So that may not be an option. And then lastly, the other option is to get a second device that plays the backing track while you record in Flipgrid on your first device. So you can see that there's not one great solution. If you've found another solution that I haven't mentioned and you want to pop it in the chat window, please do. I would love to hear it. But I really didn't find one that worked for all devices in all ways. Okay, so Flipgrid Shorts. I'm just going to mention Flipgrid Shorts. This was, again, something new that was added middle of last year when I was at the ISTU conference, I think, in July. Flipgrid Shorts is, and to be honest, when this first came out, there was a lot of fuss and, what do you call it, celebration about this new feature in Flipgrid. And it took me quite some time to actually work out what people were talking about. Why were they so excited? All that Flipgrid Shorts are is for you as a teacher, when you're logged into your educator account, you have the option of making a Flipgrid video which is not attached to a topic. It doesn't have to be on a grid or in a topic. It's a standalone video recorder that you can access to make your own videos as a teacher. So it's super useful now. I realize now I know what that is. It's super useful. And this is the way I practice using Flipgrid camera and working out how to make my own videos, working out how to add text and stickers, and working out how to edit clips and so on. So when you set your account up, I can highly recommend this. Log into your educator account. Up the top, there's a menu button which says Shorts. Click on that and just add a short. No one is seeing that video unless you share it. So you can make as many dodgy videos as you want and do all your practicing there. And it's just a great way to sort of get used to using the Flipgrid recorder. So the way that I've been using these is to practice. You can also use them to create general messages for your students that aren't to do with a topic or a grid or a class or anything. You could use it to update people of something. You could perhaps use it to send to families as a little overview of the projects that you're setting for the students. And again, it's not attached to a specific topic or a grid. And I will also say that if you do want to use a Flipgrid short video that you've made in a topic, which I did yesterday, and I thought there must be a direct button for me to add this, but there wasn't really. What you can do is view your short video. You can actually download it and then you can upload it into a topic as the focus for that topic. Okay, let's talk some ideas. So this is like actual ideas for using Flipgrid with your students. Some of them are fairly obvious, and then I'm going to talk through a few which are a little bit different, a little bit left of field. How's everyone going? Is everyone going okay? Are they good? Christy, I've just seen you ask about the shorts, and do students have to log into Flipgrid to see it? No, it stands alone. I'm pretty sure from memory. Amy can probably confirm that. I think it stands alone. You don't need to be logged in to see it. Unlike the grid. Actually, all of your Flipgrid videos can be viewed without logging in. The time that anybody needs to log in is when they are recording a video. So it's mainly when your students need to record a response on a grid or a topic. That's when they will log in. So they can view your topic. You can view all of my stuff, for instance, that I've got set up and that's publicly available. You just can't record anything until you log in. So when you hit that big green button, that's when you'll be asked to log in. So, yep, the shorts are fine without logged in. So that's really useful for parents and family members. Okay, playing tests. So first idea for using this. So this is one of the main things that music teachers want to use it for. You get your students to record themselves playing something. Now, I kind of wished that I had a lot of screenshots of actual students, but for privacy reasons, obviously that wasn't really an option. So you're going to see a lot of pictures of me, like mock posing for things. This is my son Josh. So this is him playing his guitar. So you can get students to record a piece or a section, or it could be a drill, it could be an audition, as we mentioned earlier, and students can actually respond to their own video. So this was an idea I saw a couple of years ago, where a teacher was getting her students to add a video onto the grid of themselves playing. And then in a couple of weeks' time, they would come back and she had the reply option turned on. So the student would actually go back to their own video, hit reply, and when a student replies to an existing video on a topic, they actually reply as a video. They don't type something, they actually reply as a video. So what she was getting her students to do was to hit reply and record themselves playing the same thing, but 2 weeks later or 4 weeks later, and tracking progress over time. And then they could come back and reply another time and add another updated video of how they were going with that piece of music. So this is great for all of those playing tests. Recorder karate, I mentioned before. This is me playing my recorder. Terrible angle, but nevertheless, this is a great way for you to assess the levels that students are achieving on recorder karate. There's a similar ukulele program, I think, isn't there? Is it Rainbow Ukulele? Same sort of thing. You could use it for that. You might get students to record clapping games. Clearly, this photo was taken before coronavirus and we are touching each other. Oh my gosh, it's kind of shocking to see nowadays. But you could get them to record clapping games or body percussion, anything like that works really well. Now, here's something I wanted to show you that you can do. I saw this technique where you've got something, you and something else side by side on the screen. And the example I saw was actually a literacy example where they had some text written on the screen and then the picture of the teacher on the right-hand side or the left-hand side saying something, explaining something to the students. And I thought, wow, that could work really well for things like sheet music or lyrics. So what this is me on the camera, and all I did was upload Flipgrid calls it a sticker. It's essentially a photo or an image file. I uploaded an image file which happened to be the lyrics to the Bare Necessities and the chords written out. So I uploaded that sticker as a sticker. I resized it so that it took up half of the screen. And basically, at first it was covering part of me. Then I moved myself across in the camera view so that I was on the right-hand side there. So this works really well. It's not actually two separate entities, the lyrics and my video. My video is the whole screen. It's just that the Bare Necessities lyrics is covering up half of the screen that you see. I just made sure that I was positioned in the window so that you could see me there. And you can see I'm playing the ukulele. I actually sing as well. And again, I'm going to upload the video of me doing this so you can see how it works. You can hear me singing and see me playing. I'll upload that to YouTube at some point in the next couple of days. But that's what it looks like on the screen. Lots of uses for this. This could be sheet music that you see on the left-hand side. It could be very simple words or lyrics. It could be stick notation that you've got if you're working with younger students. Many, many options. This is something that I put together as a little test quite a while ago, and this is me making a follow the bouncing ball video using Flipgrid. So again, what I did was upload the lyrics as a photo, an image or a sticker, and then before I hit record, I uploaded them, made sure they're looking good. Then I went into the sticker menu and chose something to become my pointer. So I chose a star because it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I made the star small so that it would fit between the lines of the lyrics. Then what I did was hit record, and as I'm recording and singing the song, I actually moved the star along each syllable of each word as I'm singing those words. So it's just like a follow the bouncing ball video. So I sang twinkle, twinkle. And as I'm singing, I just moved that star in time across the syllables as I went through the song. So this is a fantastic thing. So with all of these examples, these are all things that you as a teacher can make a video of to show your students. But don't forget, these are also things that you can get your students to make to show you. So if, for instance, you want students to show you that they can keep a steady beat or move the pointer in time to a rhythm of some kind, you could get them to do this kind of thing where they're moving the little sticker along in time, and that shows you that they can sing the song and they can follow the lyrics along and keep it in time together. Cool, says John. Thanks, John. I love it too. I was so excited. Seriously, so excited when I did this. I get really excited when I think of like fun things or just a different way of doing stuff. And sometimes I wonder if everyone else gets as excited as I do. Now, this is another example which is basically the same. So in this example, can you see the little teddy bear icon on the right-hand side there? I chose him as my pointer for the Bare Necessities. And rather than following the words along, this time I'm actually using him as a pointer to indicate where the chord changes happen. So the way that I set this up, I'm not showing on the screen here, obviously. I chose the whiteboard option in Flipgrid to give me a white background. I then added the text, which says chord changes, just as my title. Then I uploaded the lyrics as the photo or sticker, resized it on the screen. I chose my bear to be my pointer. And then once again, then I hit record and I sang the song and moved the sticker along with the chord changes. So again, that was really cool. And again, I'll upload the actual video of me doing this so you can see how that works. Now, I've found that it's really important to go in this actual order when you're doing this. Don't be uploading your sticker first and then choosing the whiteboard background option, because everything kind of goes weird. You can't then move your sticker around for some reason. It's important to start with choosing the whiteboard. The text and the sticker can come next. It doesn't matter which order for those, but start with the whiteboard and then add the lyrics on after the top, and then choose your bear sticker and then hit record. So order is important. Someone else gets as excited as I do. Awesome. Good to know. So whiteboard option, you can choose the whiteboard. And again, order is important. Choose the whiteboard. Now, in this example, I uploaded the staff as a sticker. So I had an image of a star, of staff lines. I just uploaded that. And that now becomes the surface on which I can write. Now, the writing looks dodgy here because I was literally using my mouse on my computer. This works much better on a trackpad, or particularly if you're using an iPad screen or a touch screen of some sort. Not the end of the world though, it's still got the job done. So what I did was chose whiteboard, uploaded my staff picture. I then chose the pen in Flipgrid. So the pen allows you to draw freely on the screen. And then what I was doing was talking about how to form the notes of the pentatonic scale starting on middle C. So in the video, I talk about, okay, I'm drawing the treble clef, and you can see me drawing the treble clef on the screen. Then you can see me writing the C, middle C, D, E, G, and A to form the pentatonic scale. So again, this is a great option. If you need to demo theory or literacy skills to students, you can do that. And again, you can get them to make these videos to show you what they know. The instrument, an instrument how-to video, this is again something students can do. This is a great one for, the remote learning situation where you want students to do assignments and it's hard to play in an ensemble at the moment. There might be other things that you can do with them. You might get them to make a video about how to put their instrument together, or how to tune their instrument, or how to hold a bow correctly if you're working with string instruments, or how to correctly have your hands at the piano and the correct position for your wrists and your fingers and so on. Again, this is a great way to use Flipgrid. It doesn't have to always be about playing assessments. Recently, I published the Musical Olympics, and this is a great thing that you can do with Flipgrid. My suggestion was, and this is kind of like a choice board format, where you have the Musical Olympics, and you can ask your students to submit or enter 3 Olympic events that are provided, and they can choose from the grid which 3 they want to enter, and they can enter more if they would like to. And to enter their event, they're going to record a video in Flipgrid of them doing the thing that the event is. So the examples on the screen, which you may or may not be able to read, include the lowest note. So who can play the lowest note, or who can play the longest note? Who can do the fastest and most accurate performance of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? And who can do that but backwards? Who can play the most consistent tone? Who could beatbox a drum pattern? All of these things, the students can choose which events to enter. They can submit their videos to the grid. I've suggested that they would put a title in the video itself saying what event they've entered. And then you as a teacher can award a gold, a silver and a bronze medal for each of those events. So you can have a lot of awards because each event can actually have 3 awards attached to it. I will pop a link for the blog post where this Musical Olympics lives if you would like to download a copy of that. I'll do that at the end. All right, I'm not going to read all of these out. I really just wanted to include a list of possible options for Flipgrid. I will highlight a couple of things though. I know a number of you are wanting to do like a talent show or an open mic or a performance of some sort, like in lieu of doing a concert. What can we do with our students in this remote learning situation? So Amy, who's actually on at the moment, has just completed her own talent show with her students. I know she can tell people about that in the chat window, but I know that she had a lot of success with this. So she got students to submit videos to her to go into the talent show. And I think from memory, Amy actually compiled all those videos, so downloaded them from Flipgrid and actually compiled them into a single video file so that they played one after the other. Amy, you can confirm that in the chat window, but I'm pretty sure I remember you saying that. Someone in one of the Facebook groups, and I'm so sorry if you're watching and I can't remember who that was, and if someone knows, they can credit this person, but someone thought of doing The Masked Singer with Flipgrid. Fantastic idea. Some of you may have seen the TV show called The Masked Singer, where the person singing on stage is totally covered in this elaborate costume and you don't know who actually it is and you've got to guess who it is. Great thing to do with Flipgrid and the stickers on the screen, so students can cover their face with the picture of a bear or a whatever you choose, a lion, anything. And so you can have a masked singer competition using Flipgrid. Some of you are wanting to collect videos from students in order to do your own virtual choir video or virtual ensemble video. Again, this is an easy way to collect videos. You can just get students to submit them all to the grid and you can download them from there if you need to do that. Lots of other options on here. I will just say the Musical Me lesson that I've got written down there, that's a blog post that I put together, and I'll share the link. This is a really great one where I've got lots of prompts that students can tell you something musical about themselves, like what is the favorite concert that you've ever seen, or what is an instrument that you wish you could play, or what are all the instruments that you do already play, or who is your most inspiring music teacher, as you were learning. All of these prompts, you could get students to pick from the list of prompts, maybe 3 of them, and talk about those things in a video that they record for you in Flipgrid. Lots of other options there. So I've popped those there just so that when you get the copy of these slides, you'll have a record of them and then you can kind of follow them up. And do ask me questions about any of them. I've written a brief version of the title of what they are or description, but I haven't gone into a lot of detail there. And I'm coming towards the end, so I just want to talk quickly about this option. For many years now, I've been talking about using QR codes in music in order to somehow connect a visual thing with a sound or video thing. So if, for instance, you had a recording of your students singing and you had a copy of some music that they had composed, the recording is of them singing their own composition, wouldn't it be great to be able to display this in the classroom or in the corridor? Now, obviously, this is probably more a thing for you to keep in the back of your mind for when you get back to your school, not so much for the remote learning situation. But if you want to have a display, which includes video in some kind of way, Flipgrid allows you to do that really easily. So the thing you can see at the bottom right of my screen there is a little piece of music that my son Josh wrote when he was 5 years old. He's now 13 and a half. And when he was 5, he wrote a song about that sculpture that you can see in the middle of that picture there. It's a bird. It's a massive sculpture. It's a bird. So he composed a piece called It's Eating a Worm. I got him to record that in GarageBand, and then I made sure that that audio was stored somewhere online and I linked to it through a QR code. So when you scan that QR code, it will actually take you to the recording of Josh singing this song. Now, there are a few steps when I did that, a few steps involved. It's not that hard, but there are just a number of steps involved in it. Now, Flipgrid, if you look at the top of the screen there, Flipgrid actually has an inbuilt QR code, or AR code it is, option for you to use. Now, this is so good because it takes away a couple of those steps that I used to have to do. So once students have recorded their video, you as a teacher can go in and you can click on the button, the orange button on the right-hand side there, and view the code for their video. This means you can print that code out and stick it on a poster. And then when you are viewing all the pictures on the wall and they've all got QR codes like that stuck on them, students or parents or other teachers can come along and scan the code and the video will appear like it's floating on your artwork. So this is a great way to create some kind of interactive display using Flipgrid. So my suggestion is that you'll need something printed in order to stick it on the wall and put the code on. That could literally be a screenshot from the video itself, or it can be some artwork that the students have made that goes along with the topic that they've just, the assignment that they've completed. All right. Last little bit here, feedback options for students. So once students have submitted videos to you, there are a few different ways that you can offer them feedback. Now, as a teacher, you can do written feedback, and those comments are private between you and the student. You can submit them to the student, and they can either get an email with those comments in them, or you can send them a link to the feedback that you've provided. The other thing that you can do as a teacher is record a quick video response to them. And this is a great option. I actually prefer this, and I do this a lot inside my own online community. Rather than writing an answer or a response to someone, I will actually just hit record and record a video. I find it much quicker to do this than to just type things out. And it becomes more personal, and the student gets to hear your tone of voice, which doesn't always come across in a written comment. So those are the options for you. If you have set up a rubric when you set the topic up in the first place, you can actually grade the student inside Flipgrid and show the students the score there. Then the last option is that I mentioned earlier, you can have students replying to each other's videos if you choose to turn that on. You don't have to, but you can turn that on. And the little green button underneath, I've picked Teresa. Hello, Teresa, if you're watching. Teresa's video from the challenge that I ran last year. There's a little green talking icon underneath. If you click on that, that's the place that the students can leave a video reply to the other student. And on mobile phone, it looks like it does at the bottom. It says add a reply, and the button is like that. Just briefly, sharing grids and topics and responses. Once students have submitted videos and you want to share them, or you've recorded a Flipgrid Shorts video and you want to share that somewhere, you can do almost anything you need to do with that video in order to share it. You can share a link, you can share a code that people scan, you can embed the response in a website if you have access to a website of your own. You can send it directly to Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams or Remind. I've gone through the process with Google Classroom. Basically, when you hit the Google Classroom button, you log into your Classroom account. You choose where you want to send the Flipgrid grid or topic or response, and you can choose from a drop-down menu. Because you're logged in, you'll see any classes you've set up or assignment. You can actually make it an assignment inside Google Classroom. So lots of different options. You can just do it all through Flipgrid itself. I'm presuming Teams works in the same way. And then the last option is you can actually download your video. So anything that you've created in Flipgrid, you can actually download. Also, just briefly, there are lots of batch processing options. So just going back one step here, couple of steps to that QR code thing. If you want to download QR codes for all of the videos that live on a topic, you can do that in one go. So you go into your Educator dashboard and you can click a button which downloads them all simultaneously. You do not need to go in and open up every individual video to do that. Okay, moving on. All right. Last couple of things. I'm just going to mention that Flipgrid has a disco library. It's actually a discovery library, but they call it the disco library. This is a place where people share topics that you can then copy and add to your own account and customize for your own if you want. So just search for music. There's multiple filters that you can apply to search for things. It's really good just to have a browse and see what other people are using Flipgrid for. Okay, I've got homework for you. This is the last thing I'm going to say, truly the last thing before we head into question time. This is your homework. I've set up a grid for us for today's session, and I've called it Flipgrid Webinar for Music Teachers. So you are my learning group today. You can visit my grid by going to this link. It's an open one. You can view it. In order to leave a response, if you want to click on the big green button in any of the topics, you will need to log in using Microsoft or Google account. But you can do that. You can scan the code if you want to scan it. It will take you straight there. I've got a choice of 3, maybe 4 topics for you to choose from. I'd love you to do the first one. Now, the point of me setting this up is that I want to give you the chance to have a practice. The only way that you're going to get into Flipgrid and see how it works is to actually do some stuff. So if you want a safe environment in order to practice, and particularly to see what it's like as a student, head over to this one and leave a response. I will be super interested to see who gets there first and does this video. I'd love to you can just say, where you're from. You can share a musical fact about yourself. I've got some other topics in there. This is the most prominent one, so you can just do this simple one if you want. If you want to click through and respond to another topic as well, you can do that. So one of them I've got is a webinar feedback topic. If you just want to say what did you enjoy about the webinar or what other topics would you like to see in the future, you can respond to that one. And I think I've got a couple of others in there. I did include one of me testing stuff out with singing along with the backing track. So I've popped that in there. They're all really flattering videos of me doing things late at night. So there you go. Okay, what's next? The next thing is to give it a go. Definitely give it a go. You have to just play. The only way to get into this is just to have a play. Just remember, no one will see your videos unless you allow them to be seen. So, have a play. It's all a safe space. Done is definitely better than perfect. Last night when I needed screenshots, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I have no makeup on. I'm just going to get it done. My intention was to redo them this morning when I looked a bit better, but you know what? I didn't get there. It's okay. It was done at least. And to keep things simple, that's probably the bottom line with pretty much everything at the moment. Just keep things simple. So if you want more help, there's a couple of useful Facebook groups that are listed there on the screen that I'm finding useful at the moment. I have my own Facebook page. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, if you do want help after today, you can come and join me in the community. I'd love to have you there. There's PD certificates for everything that you complete inside that. And there's the personalised help from me if you need it inside the community forum. You can post questions there, ask me anything you like. Okay, I've just realised I forgot to update this link. I'm going to do it while we're speaking in a moment, but this is the PD certificate link for today, and I will fix it up because if you go there right this second, it's not going to probably work. I'll fix it up in a moment, but just make a note, midnightmusic.com.au/Corona Flipgrid. We'll send out a replay link to this within a day. There'll be a copy of my slides and there will also be a PD certificate form link on there as well and some other useful links. And I'm going to open up to questions and stuff as well. I'll just get out of this screen and switch back to me. And at the same time, I will fix up that PD certificate link just quickly. Thank you so much, everybody. I will also check into the chat window. Let me do this PD certificate link first while I'm talking to you. So I hope that was useful. I know Martin and Amy would have taken good care of you in that chat window. And I knew that there was something I had to do. And maybe someone's done it magically. Nope. While I've been talking. All right, I will see if I can fix it up. Let's see. Nope. All right, I may not be able to find this super fast. Sorry, I know you're just watching me click around here. Here we go. Copy link. All right. All right, I'll just log in that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Renata. Excellent. The homework link, yes. All right, I'll grab that. Martin's solving the feed, thank goodness. Thank you, Robin. Great. You're no longer afraid, says guest 1069. I'm so happy. That's actually the biggest compliment I ever the comment that I like the best actually is that people are not afraid to try stuff. So really happy to hear that. Yeah, okay. Let me fix. I'm going to just stop talking and looking at comments. I will just fix this the PD certificate link. and just get back to the chat window in a second. So do go and have a go. In a second, I'll also pop in the link to the homework, because homework. What did I say the link was? Corona Flipgrid. All right. Can someone can test that now? I'll just paste it into the window. Test it as we speak as well. Yes. Okay, good. That's working. Great. Thanks, Brielle. Lovely to have you here too. All right. Now let's just pop a couple of other links in there. I will give you the link to the webinar thing. No, the Flipgrid practice grid. There you go, Maria. So it's called Flipgrid. That's the code that you can actually enter if you want to do that. You can enter that code and it will take you straight there. Any hints for integrating Flipgrid with Canvas, says Leslie. I haven't used Canvas, but at the very least, you can just post a link to the grid or the topic that you set up. That's it. Is there a way for students to see their own video and not the video of others they submit? I think when you have the moderation thing turned on, that was Sharon. I think when you have the moderation thing turned on, I think once they've submitted it, that they don't see it until you've made it active on the grid. Amy can probably confirm that too. I know that someone was mentioning that you need to reassure kids that once they've submitted their video, if it's moderated, that they have actually done that correctly. One teacher I remember was mentioning that some students submitted 3 videos because they didn't think that they had actually done that. So you as a teacher can see it easily on the teacher end, but not the student can't see it after they've clicked that submit button until you've made it an active one on the grid. Great. Thanks, Emily. All right, I'm just sort of looking at questions here. I may miss some. I will miss some. Can I go over the whiteboard? The best thing is for you to just have a play, really. Basically, when you click the big green button to create a video yourself or to add one to a grid, then there's instantly you'll see options, and one of them is a whiteboard option in that button. And you'll basically just open that up, and then you've got the whiteboard on the screen. And at that point, you won't see yourself. You won't see yourself through the webcam. You'll just see the whiteboard. And at that point, you can click on the pen icon and draw on it. You can add a sticker to it. You can move it around. It's just really worth having a go. Question, how do I make sure, and I'm sorry if Amy's already answering these questions and I re-answer them. How do I make sure only the student who sent me the video sees my video? The teacher or librarian set up a Flipgrid for the whole school. There was only one video on the music teacher grid. I want to get back to that student but not have it show to everyone. Yeah, that's a feedback kind of video then, I think you're talking. Flipgrid terms it as leave a vibe. I'm pretty sure that there is an option for you just to have that privately sent back to them and not be publicly showable, visible. It's probably a better thing. Oh, the mixtape option. Yeah, I know. Look, to be honest, there was so many features to show in Flipgrid, and I didn't actually include the mixtape. I got to this point where I'm like, I just can't talk about everything. I'll talk about it now though. So the mixtape is really cool. So if you have multiple grids and students have submitted cool things on different grids and you want to highlight some of them, you can actually pull them together in one place. So a mixtape is kind of like you pulling together videos from separate different topics. So if you, for instance, had the same assignment set for multiple grades, so let's say you work with 3 different grade 5 classes, and you set an assignment and then you want to have like a best in show, what do you call it? Best practice? I don't know. You want to highlight a few of those to show the school community or to show the other students maybe, and just say, hey, these were great examples of this assignment. Even though they're on different grids, you as a teacher can choose videos from different places and set up them in one single location called a mixtape. So you'll go there and then that's it. Great. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the thank yous. PD Linkworks. Thanks, Laura. Great. Amy's confirming about the moderated submissions. Yep. Yeah, Dirk's just asked about, is it possible to send a student a picture to use as a sticker in their video? Absolutely. Any image file. It needs to be .png or a JPEG file, I think, from memory. But any image will work. If you don't want the image to be massive on the screen and you know how to make it smaller, you can make it smaller before you upload it. I found when I uploaded the staff, the one that I had the whiteboard and then I had the staff lines on top of that, I started off with a big image and it was a little bit cumbersome to resize it down to a smaller size. Like, it was just huge on the screen. In retrospect, I will probably make that image smaller in the first place and then upload it to Flipgrid. It's not a big deal. You can resize it once you're in there, but if you know already that you don't want it to be too big, it can be to do it good to do it ahead of time. I just missed it. I was just going to answer a question and it popped out of view. All right, I've missed it. How do I duplicate grids, says Bev. Bev, once you're in your educator view, hey, let me switch over to that. Once you're in your this is what Flipgrid looks like. I've got 7 grids set up at the moment. And once you're in here, you can click on, this is the list of grids. I can find the grid that I want to duplicate and you can click on the actions drop-down menu and just choose duplicate grid from there. Really good, really, really useful. I can edit my grid from there. I can share my grid from there. There's lots of options once you're in your educator view to do that. And same sort of thing with topics. So if I go through to the one that I've set up for today, now I'm on the grid itself and I'm looking at the 4 topics that I've set up here. And again, I can go in here and actually duplicate the topic. So same sort of thing, same sort of options in this menu, but now I'm looking at a single assignment on a grid, not the entire grid. But that's basically where you'll find all of those. I will also just say, while I'm in this view, when you have your topics on a grid, whatever is the top one becomes the very prominent topic that students will see first when they go to your grid. If you want to change that, you can just move the topics around. So drag up to the top whichever one you want to be really prominent. I'll leave that open for a minute. Great. Thank you, Christy, so much. I know, too much information perhaps. Great. Okay. Yep. Someone's confirmed it does integrate with Canvas and you can get your IT person to help with that. Thank you, Lynette. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Janelle. If I have multiple grids, can I duplicate? Yeah. So, Janelle, when you go into duplicating your topic on the first grid that you've set up, basically at that point, when you hit duplicate, it asks you, where do you want this to go to? So you'll say, please add it to this other grid that I've already got set up. So it kind of happens in that same process. Debbie says, does Flipgrid have a generic consent form? I don't know the answer to that. They're kind of the company that would have that sort of thing set up. At least they would have I'm guessing, a brief list of their, like an overview of their policy, privacy policy and stuff. And having said that, there's probably an educator out there who's made one that's shared it online. Yeah. I think, and look, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think if you were using Google Classroom or Microsoft to log in, it's kind of your closed environment at that point anyway. So, but do double check with your your IT people. Leanne, which note naming apps? Okay. Leanne, it's a little bit off topic for this webinar, but there's a number in it. You can only choose one for iPads at home use. It depends on the age of your students. Flashnote Derby is really good. It gives a lot of flexibility. I would probably go for that. It tends to suit younger students a little bit more. It's a bit cute looking. That's probably the one I'd go for. Amy might have a good answer to that question, actually. Thank you. I'm glad guest 1560, you can actually do it. Great. Flipgrid Disco Library, when you're looking at your Flipgrid account, when you're logged into your educator account, there's a link directly to it in the menu across the top. Melissa says whiteboard help. Okay. I will actually make a how-to video which shows in more detail how I've done the whiteboard things. It's not too hard to figure out. Really, if you haven't already, just have a go. I know that that's probably not the answer that you want, but really just have a go. Open up click record, go into your shorts. This is where you're going to practice. So go to Flipgrid Shorts, click on create new short, and then before you hit record, you can turn on the whiteboard. It's just an option in the bottom there. And yeah, I can show brief. Stacey asked about the mixtape section. Did you hear the answer to that, Stacey? Hopefully. I just talked about that a little bit before. Camille's found a consent form. Excellent work. And there's a link. Thank you. That's really up to you and the school, Camille, and everyone else listening. Just check with your school if you need to do that. Absolutely. Becky, yep, you can delete a video that you've made. As a teacher, you've got control over everything. And then you can, in addition to that, allow students to delete videos or not delete them. But having said that, if you've got a moderated grid and they've already submitted it, I think it's too late by that point for the students. Thank you, Raquel. She's singing, thank you, Katie, from O Canada. Nice, thank you. Yeah. PD link, I'll grab that again. Oh, yeah, Martin's just popped it in there. I'll pop it in again at the bottom. PD link there. Yeah, Amy says Flash Night Derby and Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars is fantastic. Flash Night Derby has a few more options in it, I think. But Star Wars is cooler, especially if you've got middle school students. Definitely go for that one. Amy's daughter showed the whiteboard in Amy's session at VMEA conference. Oh, that's so good. I will actually link. Oh, I forgot to mention to you, I am still building this out, but I have a collection of links to do with Flipgrid. I will also include this on the replay page when we get there. I've got a collection of links to do with Flipgrid on Wakelet. Wakelet is a free link sharing website. So I've collected some links there. I'm going to continue to add to that. I'm sharing this a little bit prematurely, but I have linked to one of Amy's articles on her blog because she has written about Flipgrid multiple times before. I will also add some other things too. I'll add the link to the consent form onto that too, in case anyone wants to find it. Great. Yeah, Flash Night Derby, John, is good. Teresa, thank you. Yeah, Teresa's asking about if the education department allows Flipgrid. I'm not sure which state you're in, Teresa. There was some discussion yesterday from a couple of friends that I have in WA saying they were having difficulty. In Victoria, where I am, I think it's pretty cool because a lot of the department schools are using Microsoft Teams, and Microsoft is the one that owns Flipgrid. So if you have a Microsoft Teams school, you'll actually see it as an app option in your dashboard kind of area. So you'll have much less this issue if you're at a Department of Education school in Victoria. If you're in another state, I don't know. If you're in Queensland, not so much. Queensland and New South Wales, man, they're locking things down left, right and centre. So I don't know. You'll just have to double check. Flipgrid is a widely used tool, and I would be really surprised if there were not already teachers at your school, non-music teachers, who are already using it. So do go and check. Leanne's going to be catering for P to 6. Oh, sorry. No, that's okay, Leanne. Totally fine. Yeah, great. Yeah, I'm suspecting Teresa's in Australia, but yeah, I don't know for sure. Thanks, Em. Just created grids for all my instrumental students. Awesome. VCE, go for it. Yes, that's great. That's fantastic. Trisha, the question about the masked singer idea, it was in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, and I will track it down. I'll try and add some kind of link to it in that Wakelet board collection that I've created. So the two Facebook groups I'm in, one is called Music Teachers Creating Online Learning, Music Educators Creating Online Learning, and E-Learning for Music. I can't remember the names of them, to be honest. I will link to both of those. They will be linked on the replay page as well. But yeah, she did describe briefly how she did it, this teacher, and I really wish I'd had time to double check. I really prefer to credit people, so I'm so sorry if that person's watching and I haven't credited you, but I will make sure that goes into the replay page. Screen share. Yep, there's screen share in Flipgrid. I didn't talk a lot about that today. And oh, great. Amy's found it. Awesome. The Masked Singer. Great. I'm just saving that link to add to my collection. The screen share option in Students. Yeah, the screen share option is really useful. They've just added that in. So what you can do is when you open up your Flipgrid camera thing, it's not one of the buttons on the screen. I actually find that this was a little bit, it's not confusing. You just need to know where it is. So there's a little 3 dots menu, I think. You click on that and there's an option then. It's like a video options menu. And in there is screen share. And you just click on that. If you've ever used Loom or Screencastify or Screencast-O-Matic, it's like all of those. Just then whatever you do on your screen will be recorded by Flipgrid. And you can make that your entire video, or you can have a little bit of you showing on the screen first, then switch over to recording a bit of your screen, and then you again. You can. There's a lot of flexibility. Again, you've just got to kind of have a go. I'm just checking in on the YouTube comments because I've ignored you guys. Sorry. Hello, Melanie from Georgia. Paul's in New York City, and Chris from New York. And Naomi and Wendy and Wendy and Wendy and Wendy. Yeah, that's okay. The event got to the full pane. Ray Settergreen. Ray, you must be related to Bob Settergreen and the rest of the Settergreen family, I'm guessing, from Ringwood Secondary College. Okay. If you're still watching on YouTube itself and you haven't been able to log into the chat window, you definitely can now. So thanks for everything. Thanks, Carol. I'll pop the link for the PD certificate into the YouTube window as well. I think that will work. This is the PD certificate link. Thank you, Emma. Brilliant instructional session. You're lovely. Thank you. I'm glad. Yep. Robin, so there is a view webinar page. I'll just give you the link to that as well. If you want to switch over to a different place instead of watching directly on Facebook, you can head over here, and that's where you'll see the main chat window with the links that we're sharing in there. You can log into the chat window there now as well. Question about student IDs that included letters. None of them could sign in. Does it have to be a number? I did not think so. I thought that it could be anything you like, combo of letters or numbers. I know that maybe the combination is the problem. I believe Flipgrid even say that you could, if the students had an email address, or even if you want to add people who are not, they're like parents perhaps, you can still add them in that student ID section. And I believe Flipgrid was saying that you can add an email address as the ID. So letters would definitely be part of that. Can't confirm though, I haven't tested it. Teresa's in Perth. Okay, Teresa. I don't know, Teresa, if you were one of the ones commenting with Jan Rusco, who's also in Perth. She was saying that she's had trouble accessing Flipgrid in WA. So yeah, so okay, Debbie's confirming Vic Catholic system allows Flipgrid. Good. That's a good thing. Guest 4455, thank you. Amy's explained about how she runs the talent show. Fantastic. Tim's asked about setting up grids and whether you would set a separate one up for each student. You could do, it's totally possible. I would probably set up, I would have one grid. I don't know. Look, there's multiple ways you can do this, and you might sort of want to think about this. You could set up one grid for all of you. Let's say you have one grid for violin students and one grid for voice students. And then on the grid, each student could have their own topics. So there might be multiple topics per student, or you could have one grid per student. That's a lot of grids to set up, though, 100 grids. I don't think there's a limitation, so you're not prevented from doing that. But yeah, you could do that if you want to maintain the privacy. The thing with the moderated videos is it's kind of useful. You can have them moderated and not appear on the grid, but I think it's useful for the students themselves to be able to go back and look at their videos. So in that instance, yes. Having said that, it could be a topic for each of them, and then all of the, I don't know. I'd have a play with it. You could take either approach. Pat wants to know where the homework is. I love that question. Awesome. Let me find here we go. I'm grabbing the link for you. I love that there's enthusiasm about doing the homework. Yeah, Renata's off to rest her eyes. Man, I need to rest my eyes. I'm not kidding when I say I was on my computer, and this is terrible, but I had just had to get this prepared, from 8 a.m. till about midnight. And my eyes they feel hot today. You know how they get like that. So when we're done, I am not looking at my computer screen for a while. So yeah. Thank you, Diane. It was in the Music Educators online group for the Masked Singer. Thank you. Yeah, great. Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Debbie. Can't wait to have a go. Awesome. Yeah, Debbie's waiting until everyone gets used to Google Classroom. I think that is a really good plan. Bottom line, don't introduce too many new things at once, both for you and the students. So yes, if you're in Australia like me and everyone's literally today, it's the first day of online learning for my kids at school and for a lot of people around the state, and other states in Australia will be following in the next couple of weeks. Someone asked about getting a copy of the chat. I can't remember where that was, but yes, there will be a copy of the chat also put onto the replay page. All good. It'll be just, I always joke that it looks kind of like a court case transcript because it's just got like a name and a comment, name and comment. I don't know. It just makes me laugh when I see it. Bronwyn saying, do you know if you can add an audio file to a Flipgrid video when in whiteboard mode? I don't think so, but you might need to rethink the audio file and make it a video file instead, if you know what I mean. For example, I want to have a bouncing sticker on lyrics, but I want the students to hear a backing track as it plays. Bronwyn, I'll tell you what the thing I would do is. Okay, yeah. Amy's just saying you can add it as an attachment. Yeah. If you want to have it part of your teaching video, what I would do, before you go into Flipgrid, I would open up your audio file on your laptop and record on a screen recorder, like use Loom or Screencastify to record the audio file, because that, even it sounds weird, you're recording something that's already recorded, but you're going to make your audio file then into a video, and then you can put that into Flipgrid. I hope that makes sense. Michael Davis, thank you. Great webinar. Thank you. If a student responds to another student's video, can we moderate those videos? Yeah, I believe so, Janelle. I believe so. Danny went to school with Steve Settergreen. My mum did some courses or lessons with Steve Settergreen, actually. Yes, lovely and talented family. Oh, thank you, Nessie. You have a great voice. That's nice. A couple of people have actually said I should do voiceovers. I'm not sure about that, but thank you. I'm glad. Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, great. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Rachel. Bronwyn's thanking Amy. Yes. Kim, sorry if I missed this. If you're moderating videos, is there an easy way for students to indicate whether or not they are okay with you making the video active? Yeah, I think you'd make it clear in advance. Correct. Yep. I would do it that way, Kim, and then you don't have 30 students asking you that question or telling you information. I think you can even I would put that in the prompt, with the description for your assignment is, just pop in there. And I would also include information about, for the student, just to remind them, don't forget that the the videos are moderated. You could even put that in the topic tip. But in the description, you could say all of these videos will remain private. No one will ever see them. Or these videos will be made active once they've been approved by the teacher, or whatever variation you want. Confirmation that IDs are case sensitive. Maybe that's the issue with the letters. Thank you for that suggestion. The link to the Music Olympics assignment. Yes, I can do that. May have been posted already, but I'll do it again because I can't remember if I did it. Okay, great. Thank you. Past my bedtime, says guest MM. Thank you. Jim, thank you. I'm glad it's been helpful. You started using Flipgrid over the weekend. Oh, good. I'm glad you fixed a couple of things. That's good to know. Glad it was useful. Thank you, and good evening from Bethlehem, PA. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Yes, totally good for dance assignments. Awesome. Yeah. Did you see I mentioned an option? Students could make one of those, the TikTok dances. I found them fascinating and hilarious that there's just these standard dances on TikTok and they all use the same soundtrack. I just find this fascinating kind of trend. My kids roll their eyes because I'm like totally analyzing everything on TikTok all the time. But yes, you could do that. Totally do that. You could tell them to pick a TikTok dance and put it on Flipgrid, not on TikTok. Thank you, Bonnie, who said it was incredible. Great. Already assigned the hello thing. Yes, great work. Can record audio. Thanks, Jennifer. Have a wonderful day too. Karen, you've got approximately 900 students. The best thing for you to do is to use that student ID and in terms of setting them up in the first place, use that student ID option, but upload them all as a CSV file. And then, a link in an email to invite them to join. That would be great. Sarah, when you set up your profile, I just found a link to it. Oh, great. Thank you, Sarah. That's good to know. I didn't see that. I didn't notice it. Bye, Teresa. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Karen. And thank you. Don't wait too long before you give it a go. You'll just like go off the boil. Just, go and do it straight away soon. Anne's going to do it this afternoon. Awesome. Yes, thank you. I will rest my eyes, Edith. Thank you. Did my homework. The audio is super fast on some takes, says Carly. I'm guessing you mean that once you recorded, when you played it back, you found the audio was going too fast. I'm guessing that's an internet buffering issue, access issue. What do you call it? Bandwidth. Maybe try it again. Oh, Kim regrets sinking time into ineffective software for her. Okay. Good. Yeah, I think so. Flipgrid, if you can use it, it just makes things so much easier. It's just set up in order to do that. So Mary's technology anxiety is receding. I'm so happy to hear that. Brielle's getting onto this right away. Thank you. I know you've had a go at it already, Brielle. Oh, yeah, the pointer thing for the bouncing ball lyrics. I wonder if I can just show you. If you're still on and you want to see it, I'll see if I can just share my screen and show you. I'll wind up soon. I won't talk forever. Let me just see if I can share my screen and show you. I'm not sure the competition between the video, the camera that you're seeing me on right now, and then Flipgrid trying to do it too. I'm not sure if that's going to be an issue. It could totally be an issue, and I might break everything. Actually, let me see if I can. I don't know if this is going to be good. No, do you know what? I'm not game to try it. I might break everything. I will make a tutorial video just running through the steps in order of how I did it. In essence, though, you basically have your whatever you're going to show on the screen. So the picture of the lyrics, or it might be the whiteboard view or whatever it is. And before you hit record, you put that there, you make it the right size, then you choose a sticker from the emoji menu. That's called the sticker menu. Choose something there, and then I find you normally need to make it a bit smaller. So you drag the little corner handles in to make it smaller on the screen so that it's the right size for you to use as a pointer. And then you hit record, and let's say you're going to sing along and move the pointer while you sing. So you hit record, you start singing, and you click on with your mouse, you click on that little sticker that you've got for the pointer, and while you're singing, you'll just move it with your mouse on the screen, pointing to each of the syllables as you go, or the chords. I did 2 examples in mine. And then you hit stop, and then when you play the video back, you can't see the mouse pointer, you just see the sticker moving like magic. It's kind of cool. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Go and have a little try. Karen, I'm glad you had lots of questions answered. Thank you. That's great. Thank you, Jenny. Started playing with Flipgrid, off to play with Zoom now for an art class. Yeah, then back to piano on Skype and WhatsApp. Oh my gosh, you're doing really well. Oh, and you're in Mount Waverley, another one around the corner from me. We could totally have a little meetup if we were allowed to actually see each other in person. Daniel, the notes and the links, I will. Yeah, I won't give you the link to that page right now because it's not actually ready. There's nothing to see there, but it will be emailed to you. And look, I can put the link into the window. You will just get an error message if you go there right now. I don't like confusing people too much, which is why I'm a little bit reluctant to share it. But if you really want to grab it now, just save it somewhere and then visit it later today. Or, oh, I've spelt that wrong. That would have been funny. All right. Here's the link for where the replay will be. If you go there now, it's going to show you an error message. So don't get confused. So that link will be live. It will show some good stuff later today, probably in a few hours' time. Lisa, can you upload something like the Twinkle Twinkle video to other apps like Shobi? Yeah, totally. Lisa, you could just use the Flipgrid Shorts as a method to make videos if you want to, if you like the way their recorder works. Once you've recorded something in your Shorts, area, you can then download it, and it's just a video file on your laptop, and then you could go into Shobi and upload it there. So, yeah, that would be cool. Mark's interested in my name, Midnight Music. Yeah. It's funny. Someone asked me that in the last webinar that I ran just like a few days ago, last week. And it's because originally, Mark, I was not doing what I was doing. I was doing a little bit of this, running workshops for people. I was doing a lot of copying and arranging work, and I was also working a full-time job at an orchestra that plays professionally for the ballet and the opera. So I was doing that in the daytime, and all of the work that I was doing that was part of my own personal business, not my day job, was done in the evening, often very late at night. And last night I lived up to my business name. And I wanted, at the time, I really wanted a generic name because I was doing a massive variety of different things, copying, arranging work. I don't know, like working for publishers. I was doing some choir conducting. I was doing some instrumental teaching. I was doing some training stuff. I was doing Sibelius training, like all these different things. So I didn't really want to call it one very specific thing. And so I just thought of that. I don't know. I had a couple of options, but I kept coming back to that. So there you go. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Crystal, we met at TMEA. How nice. I do want to do another emoji quiz at some point. I'm still wanting to work on a non-Christmas related one. Yeah. So yes, at some point, it's fallen off my radar for a little bit, but thanks for the reminder. Thank you, Nessie. I'm glad you stuck around for the Q&A too. So this is a nice, easy way to make videos to embed in a different teacher's Google Classroom. In different teachers, yes, you could do. So Michael, in order to create videos, yes, you could use the Flipgrid Creator. The other options that I really like are Loom and just Google these, Screencastify, which are both free and they're both Chrome extensions. And you can just click on a button in your browser and record. You can record yourself on screen. You can record the screen itself. You can record both at once. And I just think they are the easiest options for making videos if you want something outside of Flipgrid. So yeah, any of those are really good. Free. They're all free too. Thank you, Nancy, who said it was a very professional session. Thank you. And Martin and Amy, I know. Thank goodness for Martin and Amy. Could this be better than PD in real life? Maybe. maybe. Thank you, Laurie. Yeah, I have yeah, me too. I feel you. Information overload. Pamela tried it but got overwhelmed with Flipgrid a little while ago. Yeah, good. I'm glad you are going to have a go. I think that's the best thing. So yeah, try on my grids if you want to just have a play before delving into setting up your own educator account and stuff. How do we know whether we should log into Flipgrid using Google or Microsoft? Desley, if you're based out of school, ask the school. They will tell you if you already are a Google or Microsoft school. That may not be apparent to you. It may not be very obvious to you when you're at your school. Some people will know straight away. Yep, we're a Google school. We just do all Google stuff or Microsoft. But just go and ask the IT people. If you have either choice, it doesn't matter. You can just choose. Actually, the consideration would be what do the students have? If the students have Google or Microsoft based email accounts, then yes, you need to know first. Do set up your option. Oh, Amy's answered too. Yeah, Amy's confirmed, same thing. Because Amy and I are the same person at times. Lisa, thank you. Funky Jazz 123, great name. Yeah. Yep. Just a question about importing classes of students with .csv. It's not too hard if that's the question. Flipgrid makes it pretty easy with step by step, like how to do stuff. Yeah, great. Oh, thank you, Louise in Dubbo. You're lovely. Yeah, watch the replay. Mark commenting about the business stuff. Yeah, I was very busy at that time. This was before kids, so I kind of had more time. Having said that, still doing a lot of hours of work, but yeah, the name's just stuck. There you go. Cheryl's not tech savvy by choice. That's a funny phrase. Yeah, go to sleep. Yep. I was living life to its fullest. It's so true. Pat's asking about the link. Can't remember which link that was, Pat. Pat, everything will be on the replay page. Is that the one that you were talking about? The replay page? It's not, just don't get confused because there's nothing to see on this page yet. But please, great. Amy's going off. Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you. I will message you. Yeah, please go. You don't need to stick around anymore. It's all good. And Martin, I'm not sure if Martin's still here, but thank you to Martin if you are still here. And if not, that's totally fine. Also, I will wind up shortly as well, but I'll stick around just for a few more questions. I'm so happy that my internet held up while my kids are doing their remote learning. They're in their bedrooms at the moment doing classes and stuff. Dosborn just asked about what's Loom. I know Zoom. I know, right? There's similar names, and I constantly say the wrong thing when I mean one and I say the other name in my head. Anyway, Loom is a screencasting tool, a free screencasting video recording tool. Really great, really great. Teresa just wanted to find where the homework is. Hold on. I'll get that link for you again. I'm going to see. Oh, look, there's 24 responses on that already. I'm so excited. Look at you guys go. Homework. Here's the link. That's the homework link. So that you'll get to my grid and you'll see a topic, which is the introduce yourself one. And then in addition to that, you can also choose to answer another topic if you would like to. My dog's woken up and she's demanding something, and luckily I have something here for you. Ella, good girl. You take it? Good girl. Take it. It's a good girl. She's been so quiet and good. I'm just going to go back to the YouTube sessions too. YouTube comments, I should say. Anne's asked the question I was expecting from someone about how do you create an orchestra from individually recorded videos. So, Anne, I actually wrote a blog post about this. It refers to virtual choirs, but it's the same thing, like band, ensemble, choir, whatever. Essentially, I'm going to give you the really brief version. Essentially, all the kids will record their own individual videos, which you could gather through Flipgrid. Then you as a teacher would download all those videos, and then you need to put them all together in video editing software. And this is hours and hours and hours and hours of work. It's not impossible, but it's a lot of work. So if you've never done video editing before, this is not a job for the faint-hearted. Find a friend who is really happy to spend a lot of hours doing that. And the bigger the ensemble, the more it will take. I saw someone comment on Facebook this morning that they had spent a few hours fixing up the audio on the first 3 videos out of 36 or so. And they had already spent about 3 hours on it on 3 videos out of 36 videos. So they were saying, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to get through this project, but it is possible. It's just a really big involved project. So yeah. Okay, just checking back through. Lisa from New Jersey, thank you. Oh, inspiration, that's very nice. Kathy from Texas, thank you. Guest 1486, definitely go and experiment. Debbie, I should totally incorporate the dog in the videos. Yeah, my son is getting too old now to be bribed to be in them. I should definitely get her in. She's fun. She's lots of fun. Heather used the former version. Excited to get back to the updated version. Yeah, they're a really good company in that they update things very frequently. They are super active on Twitter, at least, on social media. If you had a question that you can't find an answer to, I'm guessing that they would get back pretty quickly on Twitter. They instantly retweeted, when I said I was running this, they instantly retweeted my post, so that was nice. Brielle's going off topic. 5-day challenge in January last year. Changed music to love it. Oh, that's so good. Thank you, Brielle. I'm glad. Just introduced Groove Pizza. Oh, that's really good. Yeah. Yeah, it's so good if you've used things with students before you are in this remote situation. And the 5-6 classes use Beatbox. Oh, I'm really happy. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Good night in Chicago. Webinar. Oh, Wendy, was your first webinar. That's so good. Oh, I'm glad they're interesting and fun. Thank you. And thank you for watching from Texas. Yeah, Michelle's in Bendigo and has kids working too. Yep, Loom, correct, Patty. If not school-based and communicating via parents with all sorts of email addresses, does Microsoft versus Google login make any difference? Sharon. I don't think so, really. The only slight difference is that Microsoft owns Flipgrid, so there may be a little bit more, this is strange to say, but like an in-family setup, if you know what I mean. I use Google as a login personally. It's really better to think about how, if it's parents and stuff and they've got all sorts of email addresses, you as a teacher would set up with whichever one you prefer, and then they will log in with whichever method you've allowed on your grid. So you will choose the Microsoft Google option, and they will need to choose that when they log in. Or you can do the student ID thing and use whatever. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. And you're Drew. Okay, Drew, not Dosborne, Drew. Yeah, Screencastify. Yes, that's one. Loom is like Screencastify. Yep. Thank you, Brielle. Thank you, Sile. Thank you, Jess from Newey. Asking about grid setup per grade or stage for multiple classes, or a grid per class. Yeah, it's really up to you, Jess, and how big your groups are and how many topics you might end up with. You kind of need to have a little think first, and you can change stuff. It's not the end of the world. Like if you start kids off on one grid and then you decide you're going to divide them up into smaller grids, you'll just send them the link to the new grid. It's not the end of the world. You can even, I think from memory, you can even move topics around. So let's say you set up a grid originally, and students had already posted videos as a response to a topic on that grid, and then you decide you want to change your structure and you go and set up a different grid, you can actually move the topic and take all the videos with it, I'm pretty sure from memory, onto the new grid, if you know what I mean. So yeah, don't worry too much. I get very worked up about the fact that I may or may not be setting things up from the get-go the way they are going to be long term. With Flipgrid, it's not the end of the world. So yeah. Yeah. So you could just do per grade or stage. So if you had 5 year 7 classes, you could have one grid for all of year 7, or you could have grids for each year 7 class. I'd probably go for each year 7 class in that case. So year 7 A, B, C, D, E, or whatever it is. Engagement stats question from guest 9982. Seems that only video views and hours or engagement are counted for topics that students have a response video. No, there's no way around that because that's what the stats are based on. So if you have no videos, then there's nothing to count statistically, if you know what I mean. Is that what you're asking? Whether you're wanting like how many students viewed your teaching video, I don't know. But that is basically what the stats are reflecting. It's how many hours of video material have students posted onto your grids and so on. JC says truth. I'm not sure if that was my fur baby is a golden retriever and she's 14 months old or so. She's still really puppy-ish. So similar-ish to labs, but not really the same. Thank you, who a guest 1552 saying I'm a godsend. That's really lovely. Yep, definitely go and experiment. Heloise, thank you. Oh yeah, JC Sable asking about the options for the camera shy students. Yes, you could put them in the prompt. That would be a great idea. You could say, if you don't want to show your face, and obviously as a teacher, you have to be okay with this. If you don't want to show your face, please feel free to use the sticker or the pixel filter or whatever options you want to offer. I think that's a great idea. I think it's good to remember to put anything that you can inside the prompt. Having said that, after a while of your students having used Flipgrid, they will just know. So you might do that for the first few times and then later down the track, they'll know that they can do those sorts of things if you allow it. And maybe it will be a case then of saying, do not cover your face in this video because I need to see it. The place to go to upload lyrics and pictures and so on, it's called in Flipgrid, it's called upload a sticker. I think they've changed the button. If you hover your mouse over the options in the Flipgrid recorder, I think now it says sticker/photo. It used to just say sticker, and that was why I couldn't find it for ages either. It now says sticker/photo, I think. So it's a little icon of a picture icon. If that makes sense. Pat's asking how would you use Flipgrid with Seesaw? You could, so in Seesaw, you could post a link to your Flipgrid topic. I have a feeling Amy, who was on doing some moderating for me, I have a feeling she probably does a little bit of that. There's a lot of stuff you can do within Seesaw. You may not need to use Flipgrid as well, but having said that, sometimes the way Flipgrid organises things might suit you better, in which case you would just add a link to the Flipgrid grid or topic in Seesaw and say, okay, students, head to this Flipgrid topic and I would like you to post a video here, blah, blah, blah. That's how I would do it. Desley works for Education Queensland, my IT guy, who happens to be your son. Nice. I know a few music teachers who have a relative who is the IT person at their school, like a husband or a wife or a son. They say they use Microsoft, but you weren't allowed to log in on your teacher laptop. Yeah. Hit your son up with solutions for that. I think he'll be able to confirm this, but I suspect Queensland doesn't love anything where students are posting anything online outside of their school. So I don't know if that will mean you can't use Flipgrid at all. if you're at a department school in Queensland. He will know the answer to that, I'm sure. Michael Davis, so to set up multiple classes, create one grid and duplicate for each class. Yeah, I would do that because most of your grids, you might want similar settings. So I would do it. I would create one, make all the settings whatever you want them to be, and then you can duplicate from there. And then having said that, you can still go in and change the settings for each one as you go. But if you know you always want to have a certain setting on or off, it's easier to do it once and then duplicate the grid, and then you don't need to remember to go and change that each time. That's how I approach every single thing that I do ever with all types of files in all types of software programs every single time. Set it up once and then duplicate. Great. All right. The questions have slowed down, which is a good thing. I'm going to sign off so I don't have to talk anymore. And no worries, Michael. And I'll leave the chat window open for a little bit. I can't guarantee I'll come back and actually answer stuff, but I may check it later in the day and answer a couple of things you may or may not be on at that time. You can connect with me on social media. I'm not on Instagram really at all. Twitter and Facebook are much better options. So feel free to do that there. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And Emily's asking about eye strain. That's what I'm feeling right now. Just my eyes are hot. I think I said that before. Thank you, Deanna. I'm glad you had a good time. Eye strain. The tips are, this sounds stupid and obvious, but to get away from the screen when you can. But if you are sitting at your screen, the thing that you can do that I have not been able to do for the past 2.5 hours almost is in breaks or between lessons or while your student's playing something or doing something, look away from the screen. You need to change. Your eyes are looking at the same distance all the time. So one thing you need to do is make sure you're looking at different distances. So look away and look far across the room or out the window. The other thing is, it sounds weird, but doing exercises where you look up in one corner, up in the other corner, straight up, straight down the bottom corners, rolling your eyes around, those things really do help. It sounds funny. And then if you have a break, a lunch break, move away from the screen. Do not look at the screen. Just go away from it. And turn off as soon as you can. Like that thing they say about turning off an hour or two before bedtime. I have not done that in the last few weeks, but normally that's exactly what I do. An hour before bedtime, I sleep better. My brain's not as wired, all of that sort of stuff. Hope that helps. Thank you, Bronwyn. Thank you, Julia. When you duplicate, do the class names get duplicated as well? The grid name is the class name usually, and you can change that when you duplicate your grid. And even if you forget to, you can edit it later on. Thank you. Stay healthy. Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, guest 9725. I do too. Always stay till the end of the credits of the movie. I have a friend who was running webinars years ago, and he'd say, "Okay, everyone, you all leave. I'll stay and turn the lights off." I always thought that was funny on a webinar. I will actually click end or end broadcast in a second. Thanks, Jess. And remember to blink. Yeah. Oh, the other thing that's really good for eye strain, and again, I do forget this. I wear contact lenses, and my optometrist constantly tells me to use eye drops more frequently. So whether you wear contacts or not, using eye drops really helps because your eyes just dry out when you're looking at a screen all the time. So using those helps. It's like having a drink for your eyes. Yeah, and yes, actually, Bronwyn's just mentioned about the other viewing options. Turning on the dark mode can help if you want to. I don't love it personally, but dark mode on your phone, laptop, anything, there's often an option for that. That's a good one. Thanks. Thanks, Emily. I'm glad. The eye tips. Yep. All right. I'm literally clicking end broadcast. So goodbye, everyone. Have a great day. And I'm going to go off and take my eyes away from my screen and have some lunch, check in on my kids and make sure they're doing schooling. So have a good rest of the day. And the replay will be posted very soon.